All right. And we are live. Welcome to the Iron Lords podcast, episode number 47. And it's another glorious Sunday, and we are back at the round table on the Lord's Day. We've got a very special guest, combat sports talk, the reign of booty, Microsoft digital announcement speculation, and Nintendo Labo to discuss. So we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who, in my opinion, offers some of the most balanced and honest perspectives in all of these YouTube streets. This Lord consistently provides high quality content with a smooth delivery, classic retro feel, but more importantly, makes us focus on what really matters, having fun and enjoying these great games. Introducing Mr. Luke Chess Radio himself, and a member of RDX, TSP, 60 Frames, and the GRG podcasts. The coolest level-headed gamer, fellow MMA fan, and the Lord who always challenges everyone to think for themselves. Making his debut into the realm of the Lords, my man, Lord J. Fonzerrelli. How you doing, sir?
What's up? I gotta say, that is the best intro I've ever had. So I appreciate that, man. Hey, you know what though? It's Sunday. This is the same day my podcast drops as well. This is a great time to be on Iron Lords podcast. I can't wait to talk about these fights and whatever other topics you got going on. It's gonna be a blast, guys.
Absolutely, man. Huge fan of yours. You're a Lord at what you do. So when you come to the Iron Lord podcast, we got to roll out the red carpet for you, show you that proper respect, man. Huge fan. Glad to have you on, man.
Likewise, man. Likewise.
No doubt. And of course, we have those usual suspects at the round table. We're down two Lords today. Unfortunately, the co-host with the co-most, he may be joining us in progress. Work is holding him hostage, but we still might get some Lord Addict action. And we want to give a shout out, salute to Lord Sov, Lady Sov. Condolences, and please give their thoughts and prayers to their family. Right now, they have a loss in the family, and he's out there in PR, tending his needs. I know what he's going through because I've been through it myself, and actually have to go through it myself. When you're older, you start losing people. So make sure everybody keeps Lord Solves in their prayers, and hopefully we'll get him back soon. But of course, we still have the excess gamer.
Ooh.
The Lord of Combat Sports, who is a man of his convictions and demands nothing less than that premium experience.
Ooh.
Beloved Lord King, how you doing, sir?
Man, I am so excited for this day. I feel like Ric Flair coming out the tunnel with the woo, yeah. Baby, this is the day right now. I was on my Macho Man Randy Savage swag last night. You guys don't really understand where I'm at with it. I feel like Goldberg with that belt on is untouchable. It was, oh boy, we are in here today. I love the energy right now. Today we are so in here right now. We are so in here right now, guys. I know last night everybody's house was like ESPN. Like it was. I swear, if I had a bar and people walking through it, it felt really good. It would have felt really good. The nachos is at the table. if you need something to drink, the drink is right there. Yes, sir. It's. I see. I don't eat the chicken wings and the stuff like that because that definitely would have been prevalent. Yesterday was my son's birthday. Shout out to Dante Johnson,
to the future king of the realm. Happy born day.
Yes. Young Prince is 7 years old, so nice. He was on his little Prince swag yesterday. Very eccentric with his stuff. Had to go to GameStop, and he definitely got it popping. He's smart. He's a smart young kid because he has all the systems except for the this generation. I don't put him in the mix with this generation. This generation is like.
So you keeping him a generation behind?
Yeah, he stays right behind. He's right behind. He has to play PlayStation 3. He has he's 7 years old. He doesn't need that.
He's 7. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, where's he at with that? No, that's not going to happen like that. Plus, the game's a
Laura Clenio in the chat. What up, baby? We had good fun last night. We got that combat sports talk.
Yes, sir. But he went inside GameStop yesterday, and I told him, I said, you got $60. Mm-hmm. So he was like, Now, one kid would have been stupid and said, let me get this one game. He said, Daddy,
what do you do?
with the Wii games,
Hmm.
not the Wii U.
The Wii.
With the Wii games. Because his Wii is popping. He ran over to the Wii. He was getting $7 games, $3 games, $2 games.
So he racked up. Smart.
He went to the counter with like 7 joints. Here we go. And had enough money left over to get some candy and get out the store.
Check him out. Salute to the young Lord. That's what's up.
Very small. Pimp decisions last night. Pimp decisions.
And of course, it is Lord Cognito here, spreading that gaming realness on the ILP. Not telling you what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. So before we get into what the Lords are playing, I want to start off with Lord Fonzerrelli, his video game system history, what led him to being a member of some of the top podcasts in the game, as well as creating that amazing Loop Chess Radio. So Lord Fonzerrelli, let's start from the beginning. What were some of the first gaming systems you had?
Well, if you really want to start from the beginning, it all started in the arcades, bro. Like, this is going back to when like Pong was still, the first console out, So we didn't have nothing like that, and this started out, matter of fact, in the Philippines. Because I used to live down there as a baby until I was 7 years old. So my first taste of the arcades was actually down there. And when I came to the States, like, we was all over that, going to the corner store and having, I don't know if people remember what corner stores were like, but
yeah, we call them bodegas in New York.
Exactly. And they would have like this one machine in there, and it was a, tabletop machine, and it was Pac-Man, and we would be in there playing Pac-Man and all kinds of stuff. And then my uncle one day, he brought home the Atari 2600. And I'm telling you, I was hooked ever since, man. And we had Pac-Man at home. We couldn't believe it, and this was going back to 82. So I couldn't believe we actually had, the arcades in our house.
Yes.
And that was just amazing to us at the time. And we were playing games like Adventure, where you were a little square and you were just going through the little dungeon. And dude, it was so rudimentary, but man, for back then, it blew our minds, and Stampede and all these other games, Pitfall.
Remember that? Oh, you taking it back? Yeah, remember that.
Pitfall, Harry, baby.
And then we went through other consoles too. We had this one. I believe it was the Commodore 64. My brother had. We had the NES. We had the ColecoVision. We had.
Oh, I had the Coleco too. Nice.
Yeah. So I mean, it just went on from there. But my favorite console of all time still remains the Dreamcast. Man, console.
It's funny you said that, Lord Fonzerrelli. I was getting into it with Lord Stinger, and we were talking about it. And I'm a huge Dreamcast fan also. And we were just talking about like launch lineups. And obviously we know right now the Switch is really popping. And I think Lord Sting, he kind of listed all of like the Dreamcast launch titles. And when you actually see them listed, I was like, wow, he may have a point right there.
That was the greatest launch lineup in history.
Yeah, he may have a point. We're going to get Sting on for that show too. But continue, Lord.
And it's not just that too. It's not just all the games that they had, because they had some great games, but it was the console itself. It was so ahead of its time. It had so much going for it. It had online components. It had the VMU.
VMU. Yes.
Bro, we've never seen anything like the VMU again. And why the fuck not? Oh, sorry. I cussed. I just get passionate about this stuff.
We love it. We love the passion. Love it.
I'm telling you, those VMUs are just, they were amazing. Remember when you were sitting couch co-op or you're sitting there playing Madden against your buddy on the couch? You can have those VMUs and pick your plays, and he wouldn't see what you were doing because, with the other consoles, it was all on the screen. Nowadays, it's still all on the screen when you're side by side. What happened to that, man? Bring that stuff back. Who cares about the touchpad on the PS4? Bring back a screen. Bring back something you can utilize on that thing. It was phenomenal. So
yeah, man, Dreamcast was so ahead of its time, and I'm glad you made that point about the VMU. Lord King, though, I mean, he had it all, and it was such a cool thing because you had that screen in your controller that would, like you said, would have the plays listed, and it just added an extra level of depth. And Lord King, help me jump in if I'm right. Like, didn't there have other games that were kind of like separate also on the VM that you could continue?
what I did was with the Sonic, you was able to take the little eggs and mature your little eggs with you, and they pop out and turn into little like Tamagotchis. That's where it really started from, because the Tamagotchi was going crazy in Japan. So Sega said, well, let us capitalize on that. The only problem with the VMU was the battery life was terrible, and then they exchanged the battery inside the back. That was a miscalculation on their part, but they were so far ahead of the times with the online, the Ethernet, and we credit Microsoft with having the first Ethernet. No, brother, it was the Dreamcast.
Was it like a 33.6 modem?
Yeah, it was, but you had the aliens online, because my mother would shout out to my moms. My mother would pick up the phone, and she ran inside the living room one day with tears in her eyes, because she picked up the phone while I was playing an online match. I think it was like 2K or something. I don't know what I was playing, but she heard the on, and she thought the aliens was here and they were taking over.
I am done.
I'll never forget that day. I'll never forget it, because I was in the living room with the sheet over my head in the dark.
It was too advanced. It was too advanced for her.
Yeah, she was like, "Oh my god!"
But Lord Fonz, Dreamcast was amazing. I'm so glad you brought that up. That's what's up. Now, back in your history, I know you said Atari, you said Coleco, you said a lot of classic stuff. I didn't hear Sega in there much outside of Dreamcast. Did you have a Master System? Did you have a Genesis?
I didn't have the Master System. I had the NES at the time. My buddy, though, my best friend, had the Master System. So we'd go over each other's house and play both. So we didn't have any problem with that.
That's like me and Lord King. Yep.
Yeah.
But when the Super Nintendo dropped and the Genesis, I had both. And then I even bought that terrible SegaCD system that came
out. Thank you, Lord Fonz, because Lord King gets mad when I say it was terrible.
First of all, you're not gonna sit there and don't put your head down when you say that, okay? That was very premium. That SegaCD was so premium. I don't care how grainy our grains were.
Okay, here's the thing about the Sega CD. The only good thing about it was the sound. Like I would put in a game and I'd be like, this looks kind of the same. But that sound.
That's why I didn't get it,
I'd be like, wow, that sounds amazing. What it
You had Eternal Champions like me?
Man.
The premium edition?
But I mean, come on, Sewer Shark.
Yeah, it was. You know what left? It wasn't like the TurboGrafx 16 CD, because I had the PC Engine Duo CD, and listen, my gaming is so extensive, is insane. And I was anything that was cutting edge. I even had the Jaguar CD, that taller bowl, the flip top taller bowl.
I remember that, yeah.
I was in there with that. The thing with it is they had this one, that Dance Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch.
Oh my God, dude, I remember that.
How to make a video. That game was so huge. I think it sold like 1 million. And when they saw that, the FMV full motion video craze went left. Sewer Shark and all that other stuff, and was it Sherlock Holmes? Sherlock Holmes blew Cognito's mother away.
Yeah,
I liked Sherlock Holmes. I actually liked that game.
It's like what you said, Lord Fonz. It was like it didn't. I was disappointed because it didn't improve the graphics, but for the sound and the voice acting and all the frills that it gave the game, yes, it definitely amplified things. But I was kind of hoping that it was a larger kind of deal. You know what I'm saying? Is there a Lord Attic in the building?
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Going on, brother.
Go both. We didn't think we'd get you today, man. Good to have you.
Oh no, actually, I was supposed to do mandatory overtime today, but I switched it for another day. So
no doubt. We're reminiscing about Lord Fonz gaming history. We're having some good old OG Lord talk right now, so you can pay attention.
So I could have been like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, you could have been late for the ball.
That's so disrespectful. That is so disrespectful. Hey, you're not leaning into your old last year ways, are we?
It's not disrespectful. I'm just not able to really.
He just wasn't alive for us during our time.
You know what I'm gonna do?
Hold on. How you penalize me for not being alive during this transition?
No, you know what that is true, and that is my bad. I got to take you down memory lane. So what I'm gonna do when we go to PAX, right? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my Neo Geo. I'm gonna bring my my Genesis,
my Switch.
And me and you gonna have some Neo Geo side to side love on that, baby.
Educate the
Neo
young.
Geo sounds like some kind of cancer, dude.
Oh my God! Anyway, back to Lord Fonzerrelli and his history.
I gotta say, Neo Geo was one of those consoles I could never afford as a kid. All right, my parents would never buy me that, but I remember one time a buddy of mine rented it. Back in the day, you'd be able to rent these consoles from different mom and pop shops, and he rented it, and we couldn't believe he had basically Neo Geo Arcade in his house, and we were just playing those games. Man, a great system, but yeah, it was one of those that I wish I could have afforded back then for sure.
Listen, when you have someone like a premium Lord King, we went to his house to make sure he had all the Neo Geo. They were like dictionary size cartridges.
Yeah, it was 250 a pop. But you know what it was like when you purchased it though. If it was going by size, because when they said 512 megs, it was all in there. It was all in that cartridge.
They didn't know about compression.
Nah, not at all. It was giant. They were actually like little laptops that you was plugging into the system. Like, it was worth it though. For me, I love it. I still got it though.
No doubt. So, yeah, Lord Fonzerrelli. So, you're very diversified. So, I'm very impressed with that. Now, as far as like gaming franchises, like give me your top 5 gaming franchises or top 5 games of all time. But I usually limit it to tell people franchises just to kind of give them a little bit more broad choices.
Franchises. Well, I'll give you games. I'll give you games.
Oh wow, you're the first. You're the first to give me games.
I'll give you one of the games that sticks out in my mind is I got to go to Halo 1 Combat Evolved. That was one of my favorite gaming moments when I beat that game.
Classic.
I just felt that was the first shooter that I went through that I really was impressed with all the way through.
Absolutely.
Loved it. Final Fantasy VII is another one.
Oh man, we love that. Now Lord Addict's ears are perking right now.
Yeah, I really like that one a lot.
Classic.
Man, 5. This is kind of hard. Man, you know, I can't. Right now, I can't give you 3 other games right now. Off the top of
you're the first to attempt that many. So now,
but I'll tell you what. I will tell you what franchise I wish to see come back.
Okay.
And that is, of course, Legacy of Kain. I want to see Legacy of Kain make a return. And I talk about
touching a spot with me.
You're touching a spot with me right now. I'm getting emotional.
Because they had so many good games, man. Soul Reaver just blew me away on the Dreamcast. You had, man, like, bring it back already. We need a new game in this series.
Don't they have this new vampire game that's coming that's trying to pick up the torch from the old developers or I think the old writers from the Legacy of Kain series?
I don't know.
It's a PC game right now called Vampire, and it's an RPG, action/RPG. And I saw it at E3 at the PC section. It looks insane. I know Lord Sovereign knows exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah, Lord Sovereign knows.
But I want to get back to, because Legacy of Kain, he hit a real emotional spot for me, because I'm one of the real ones that, like, I like the first Legacy of Kain when it was Kain.
Top down isometric.
When it was top. Now, don't get me wrong. The other games, I guess the game engines were better. I like the Soul Reavers. Those engines were better, and the gameplay probably was better. But I just like that Kain story and how, you know, he became a vampire and the abilities he had. And I love the voice acting of him. Like, he would go through and kill the bosses, and he would talk in his mess. And I don't know, it was something about Kain that I really liked.
Yes, finest vampire. Yes.
Shout out to Lord BRAP. That was actually Amy Hennig. And yeah, man, I really loved that. It was so well written. I had no idea until recently that was Amy Hennig. And I love that game, man. Absolutely.
Yeah. Blood Omen and Defiance and all those games.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's just one of those games that I feel that, you know, it could make a big comeback. They could really bring it back, and people will embrace it. I don't know. We just don't have too many games like that out there right now.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's absolutely true. Those are some good choices, man. Very good choices. So, yeah, let's get into now how you got into the YouTube game. You know, creating your channel, and then also, what led you to all these great podcasts. You're a member of like a lot of really good podcasts. A lot of people we've had on the show. So let's start with your journey.
Yeah, it's really weird because when I first dropped some content on YouTube, it was just kind of I don't know, like my very first video was a video I made about the gaming industry and where it was headed with all these loot boxes and stuff and DLC and all this stuff, and it was just an eye-opening video that I put out there that some people embraced, some people didn't, some people hated it. And this was back in 2016, and my channel wasn't really growing, and I was making a few other videos, and then I started making these gaming parody videos of the community that I found here on YouTube. I just thought some of these characters were rather funny, and I decided to put out some parodies and stuff, and those started to take off, and people were sharing them and stuff. And then I got the attention of some bigger YouTubers that would come by, and I see him in my comments. I'm like, whoa, this guy's got like 30,000 subs. What the hell is he doing in my comment section? I'm just an old dude here. I wasn't expecting to get the attention of any of these guys.
I know. Us old lords. I know. We're the same. We're the same bracket.
And then just started focusing more on gaming, because I was doing stuff like political and stuff, and don't ever do political stuff. The hard way. Oh my, I was having people coming down on me, like, and I had to get rid of those videos because they were just toxic. And it's just like, I wasn't trying to be toxic, but anytime you go political or religion or anything, it's a death sentence for your channel.
Absolutely. Completely agree. And as the Lords, we definitely strive to stay away from that stuff. I want people to come here for gaming, having fun, escape, all that other stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we try to keep away from the tiki torches, fanboyisms. Like, we want everybody here, to feel comfortable. If you play PlayStation, feel comfortable. I don't even care if you're down on your phone, because my phone game is heavy when I'm tired. I sit on the side like, hey. So yeah, man, I want everybody to feel comfortable.
Yeah. So I stuck to gaming. I just stuck to gaming, and then all of a sudden, again, I had some gaming YouTubers come to me and say, hey, you want to be part of this? You want to join this podcast? Actually, it was All Day Digital was the first guy that hit me up.
Salute to All Day Digital.
All Day Digital. He hit me up in a DM on Twitter. He's like,
I gotta mention that John killed him too.
Oh my God! Wait, PUBG. Go ahead, John, kill everybody. PUBG. Continue.
All Day Digital slid up in your DMs. Ooh.
He goes, hey, dude, do you want to come to GRG? And I'm like, what's GRG? I don't even know what the hell.
I know, right? That's kind of nervous, right?
Yeah. Like, it's a podcast. Come on.
You like, well, where that at though?
Because again, I'm just some old dude on Twitter, and I'm just like, okay, and I know what a podcast is, of course, because I had a podcast going at the time. I had a mixed martial arts podcast I was doing, and I was like, okay, this is a gaming podcast. I'll try it out. So I went over there, met K-Mega and stuff, and they were good people, and they asked me, hey, after the first show, they're like, you want to be a permanent guest or a panel member? I'm like, sure. So started. Then it got hit up by Porter Rock.
All right, salute Porter Rock.
Porter Rock was like, hey man, you want to come to the show? And I said, yeah. And then he asked me to be a panel member over there on 60 Frames. I was like, okay, cool. And then one day, me and All Day were talking, and we're like, hey, we were coming up with the idea for Loot Chest for quite some time. It was months in the making. And we were like, we want to make a radio style old school podcast, and put it out there for the people with gaming, strictly just all consoles, no BS, no fanboy stuff. And as we were talking, then all of a sudden we got hit up by Dealer. He's like, I want to make a new podcast on my own called RDX. And
RDX, salute to the RDX crew.
And he asked me to be a part of that. And then Old Salty Gaming, I met him. He was doing his thing, and I met him when he was just like 100-something subscribers. He was like, nothing yet, but I watched his content, and I hit him up and I said, hey man, you make good videos. I like what you do. You're gonna get bigger. I'm telling you. I can tell.
You can tell. Yeah, same thing. I could tell with Salt, because we used to talk. Me and Law, so not to cut you, but me and Law had the same kind of conversations. I'm like, Lord Salt's he's gonna be something, man. He always kept his word. We always stayed in contact. Good people. Shout out Lord Xbot in the chat, NLG in the chat, BRAP in the chat. Oh, this is beautiful, guys.
Yo, Xbox, I'm mad with you.
Continue that later.
So Salty.
Continue, Fonz.
So Salty, he decided to make his little podcasting. He had something going on like Dads of Gaming or something at the time, but we didn't really talk much. I just hit him up a few times. He came over to my channel, hit me up a few times. And then one day I was on the Saltiest podcast with him. And then he asked me to be a panel member. And the rest is history there. And then, of course, Loot Chest finally came to fruition. And me and All Day started that with Enrique from BRAP. And, of course, Saltiest Gaming was on there for a bit. He had to leave, but he came back last night for a guest spot. So it's all good. It's just that, sometimes he can't make it. So, it is what it is. But yeah, so it's a lot of podcasts and a lot of times I'm not able to make them all and everything. But hey, man, I do what I can.
Well, it goes to show, like, how much people appreciate your perspective. Like I said before in your intro, you're so balanced, so cool, and you definitely like to hear you sometimes you even make people who had one view of something. Sometimes what I like what you do, especially your production values, are excellent. I mean, if anybody is not watching Jay Fonzerrelli, please subscribe to his channel. Like he really, if you're an OG Lord, you'll appreciate some of the subtle things he puts in his videos. That if you're from this time, you understand what that is.
I try. Here's the thing though. Like I used to try and put so much production value in my latest video that I put out about Nintendo. Yeah. I put in about 4 hours work for a 4-minute video.
I could tell.
Okay. And the thing is like I've put in before like 15 hours on one video and it barely gets any movement. So that's the problem with YouTube. It's like some guy could go out there and just talk over a black screen and get 1,000 views. There you go. And I could put out a video I put 15 hours into and get 100 views. And it's kind of disconcerting. It's like it makes me, I'm happy that some people enjoy it, but at the same time, it's a little bit of a knife in the back. Like,
it's tough because, like you said, it's like sometimes, you can tell, lords like you and people who really take their time and make high quality content. And it's just like, man, this Lord should be getting so much more views, and then, meanwhile, you turn down the dial and you see what other people are doing and you're like, damn, that's winning. So it's frustrating, but at the same time, we know where you're coming from. We know you're coming from a passionate place. And at the end of the day, real recognize real. It's gonna blow. And especially with the Lords here, we want to recognize all of that, and you're definitely a pillar in this community. So
like when I look at your videos and I listen to them, like sometimes I'll just listen to the audio cues on some of the stuff that you hit, and it's so spot on that I'm like, yeah, that's that lane. He in that pocket. Now maybe you didn't get the views on it, but for a lot of people it resonated. Like, man, they were in that zone right there. 'Cause when I'm driving and I'm listening to you,
you know what he had me, Lord King? He had the old G.I. Joe Destro picture.
Yes.
I said, I had that.
Yes.
I had those G.I. Joes. I had those Transformers. I know those bikes.
See, that's the thing I like to do. When I make a video, I like to put myself into these videos. I like to go back and think about, like with this latest video, when I was a child, the things that I had, the things that I wanted, the things that I was into,
Absolutely.
And put that out there for people because I know it'll resonate with somebody out there that is like me. And that's the one thing. I had a lot of people come to me after that last video and tell me, that actually brought a lot of memories back and you really touched me with this video or whatever. And, even if it's just a handful of people, that makes me feel good, honestly.
Absolutely. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And like I said, we just want to always recognize that, that's good stuff. And the last question I have for you, that was probably silly. It's probably self-explanatory. But the Fonzerrelli name. How'd you come up with it? Was it truly inspired by Happy Days? What's the deal?
Actually, I work at a steel mill, okay? And I work with a bunch of dudes that some of them younger, some of them older. But this one older dude.
It sounds like Pittsburgh talk now.
Yeah, it's actually the steel mill is in Pittsburgh, California.
Oh wow!
It's called Pittsburgh, but it's in California. Gotcha. But anyway, so because my last name is similar to Fonzerrelli, it's a play on my last name. people would come up to me, and this one older dude at my job, he just one day came up to me and he goes, "Hey, Fonzo," and I was like, oh, "Okay, cool, whatever." And then the next day he was like, "Hey, Fonzerrelli," and it just stuck. Like everybody started calling me Fonzerrelli. So it's a real life nickname that I just decided to take over to YouTube, and Twitter, and everything else. So.
Nice, love it. Again, for us old lords, we appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. So let's get into what the lords have been playing this week. Let's start with our guest, Lord Fonzerrelli. What games have you got a chance to touch outside of all those great videos you've been making? What games?
Right now, the latest game I was playing is an old game. It's Witcher 3. So I'm still trying to play through that.
Nice.
But yeah, on the Xbox One X, it's beautiful.
Now, which mode you doing? You doing that 60 frames? Or you doing that? What you doing?
I only do 60 frames all day. When that mode is available, that's what I'm picking.
Okay. Fair enough. So just a little Witcher. Anything else? Or just Witch has been dominating the time?
Well, I recently beat, last week I beat Gears 4 finally.
Nice.
And I thought that was a solid game. Solid.
Cool. All right. Lord Addict, the co-host with the co-most. I know you've been working a lot. You got a chance to play anything? I seen you did a Bloodborne stream recently.
Yeah. I as much as I hate to say this, I don't know why, but I don't want to play Bloodborne anymore.
This sounds like this game broke you. What's going on?
No, it's not that it broke me. It's just like, it's not that it's a bad game. I still stream it kind of forcibly, but I'm just not enjoying it anymore. Maybe it's just because like I kind of want to try Persona for once, and it's like part of me is like trying to yank me away from Bloodborne to play Persona, but the other part of me is like, if you do that, you're never going back to Bloodborne.
Yeah, so it's like you're begrudgingly powering through, like.
And I'm just like, great.
It's not that Bloodborne's bad or anything. It's just like I want to play Persona. Like it's just like I only really play my PlayStation when I'm streaming. And it's just like every time I'm playing it, I'm like, I could be playing Persona right now. Like, why am I playing Bloodborne? Like, maybe, like, I don't know. I took a long break from Bloodborne, and the game is still relatively easy. I'm not really too far. I'm in the cathedral where there's a dude on a roof shooting a Gatling gun at me. But like, even when you find out how to get through that, it's just like, okay, so I just keep moving. Like, like the Gatling gun's not gonna touch me. I don't think I've gotten killed one time with that Gatling gun yet. I might have. I don't know. I'm sure, someone is enough. They'll go and look at it. But
yeah, it gives you the timestamp and bring that to you.
Yeah, thanks for all the chat. Thanks for all. Salute Lord Fastback, Punk Dish, everybody, man. Thank you. Please hit those likes. Much appreciated. Not for you.
Why you keep changing your name, Frog? That's not necessary.
Frog is the OG, man. You got to respect it. I like Lord Frog. He's real cool.
He's on Planet Xbox.
Yeah, I heard him on Planet. I heard him on Multiverse. Really respect. We got X Friday. I'm
people
very
need
happy.
to stop yanking people from Planet Xbox for guests. Like first it was Jazz going around the routes. Now
salute Lord Anchor. Salute Undead. It might feed the truth.
Anchorman, we need some license from you. We need some loyalty fees.
And the premium bread, of course.
This is ridiculous.
So let's get into Lord King. What you been rocking this week?
Oh, well, this week, the fraction rallies dropped down on Destiny. So my Destiny, every character has the suits unlocked with all the ornaments.
You got that new Monarchy ornaments with the...
I got the new Monarchy. I got the Dead Orbit. I got the Future War Coat. I'm upset with the gun situation, but again, Destiny takes 2 steps forward, 1 step back, and it's all right. I'm dealing with it, but that's my addiction. And like Lord Sovereign said, I am a crackhead. So
this time, I'd say 1 step forward and 6 steps back.
I agree.
I feel you. It could be anything that you want it to be, but it's my drug of choice, and I'm gonna keep using it.
I would even go out of my way to say they were climbing a hill and just tripped and fell down the whole thing.
I hear that, but I'm gonna get my drugs on.
Let Fonz get off.
I will tell you that there's help for that. You can get off of that crack.
Oh no! You see, the thing about it is, I'm not gonna stop, baby.
Why? Can someone please direct King to the nearest help center? Like,
but anyway, between that, I was playing PUBG, sir, and I'm pretty sure that you're well versed in that. So, shout out to Lord Monkey in our PUBG love. That game is you go in with a mindset, and in the mindset when you jumping out that plane, you saying to yourself, "I want a chicken dinner today, so I'm gonna play Mad Strategic. I'm gonna get my joint. I'm gonna huddle up, especially if you're going by yourself. You know, I'm gonna do this way. And then some days you just jump out of the plane and be like, F it. Everybody gonna get it. I see somebody sneaking, I'm popping off. I don't care if I have a pistol.
You purposely put your parachute next to their parachute.
Yes, and you flying down with them, looking at them like, boy, as soon as we hit the ground, I'm gonna punch you in the face.
You're a savage. Oh my god.
I love that game.
It's fun. It's fun. I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat as Lord King. I was looking forward to Faction Rally. Unfortunately, in Destiny 2, they started to mess that up. There's a big controversy right now.
Every week there's a controversy.
Every week.
I think they do it for the Twitter hits.
Well, right now it's bad because Lord Fonz. Like,
it's not been good for like 6 months. It feels like. Now let's just go over. Let's do a little deja vu. I want to go back and tally every time Cognito says when the Destiny community is going, it's really bad right now. Related to that kind of phrase, and I bet you
probably can make money every time I say that without what I'm playing. And yeah, and I do mention it. Yeah, the thing is, it's like they just can't get out of their way. What is it like? It's like they can't get right. It's like it's always something. So this week it was Faction Rally. I'm so looking forward to it because, like Lord King said, I'm New Monarchy. They have some of the best season 2 armor going. It's like this gold royal with the lion head. It looks beautiful. And they have like all these different requirements to unlock each piece. So I'm about to do it. And a lot of people are saying like, hey, do you realize that a lot of the new weapons aren't dropping? And I'm like, no, I didn't really pay attention because all I cared about was the armor. But it started to pick up, and then they had to explain themselves as to why this wasn't happening. There was another PR mess, and I'm like, come on, Destiny. So, salute to CJ Barrett. He's jumping in the front lines with Deej and these guys. But it's getting bad, Fonz. And I know you were a hardcore Destiny guy, but it's getting bad to the point. Yeah, I know, because I remember you in RDX. I was like, yeah, I like that guy. You used to have the little hunter logo on your icon, if I remember.
Yep. Yeah, I put over 200 hours into the second game, and I just got to that end game, and there was no end game. Like it was so bad, and this was before Osiris, of course.
Absolutely.
And I was like, I'm done with this, and I stopped playing, especially after all the controversy that was going around at that time with Bungie. And then my son, my son still plays it. He's 12. He don't know no better. He's playing that game. And he asked for Osiris for Christmas. So I got him that. And then he's like, Dad, just download it. You got it. And we game share anyway. Just download it. I'm like, nah, I'm not downloading it. And here's the funny part. An hour and a half after he loaded that up, he said, I'm done with the campaign. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Osiris was like an hour and a half. I was like,
yes, it's that fast.
That's crazy. And of course there's other stuff you can do, but it's just not worth my time anymore. Like
I completely agree with you. What I tell people, my hardcore Destiny guys like you, right now, they're in the mix of revamping the entire thing. It's going to take time. It might not even be by the next DLC. They're going to have to wait to have their Taken King moment to get Lord Addict, to get you, Lord Fonz, back in, because there's so many things. It's right now they're in the process of bringing things back to Destiny 1. And the whole frustration is, why was it removed in the first place, right? So that's another discussion. I know we had this talk. Shout out to Lordy Bontis. He was on, last week with Lord Sinister, and we went into the development update. Please catch that episode. We talked about our theories about what's going on and that stuff. So it's intense. But for the hardcore, hold the line. Think about maybe that September one. That's the one where by then, based on the roadmap, everything that we want should come back. But as far as me, besides the Faction Rally, I actually picked up old school Double Dragon on the Switch.
Oh boy!
I know it feels. It caught me, man. It caught me. I've never spent so much money in the arcade on that game, Lord Fonz. I had to get
I will say with Destiny though, nothing else touches that gunplay though. That
best gameplay.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Best gameplay. Phenomenal. And Lord Addict knows when you have that gameplay, 6 people cooperative in raid. It is some of the funnest memories I've had with both Lord Addict, Lord King, Lord Sinister. we have moments, and that's why if people want to know, like, why can't you guys just quit Destiny? It's for those moments.
Lord Fonzerrelli, you put the nail on the head. The feeling and the visceral feel of that gun and the rumble in that controller and the weight. I don't know how they can confuse my brain into feeling the weight of the gun, but it's insane. Like,
don't forget, also the hit detection too. I mean, it's
nuts. Well, when you play Wolfenstein, do the guns feel light? Don't they feel floaty? They don't feel there.
They don't feel as heavy.
Like, they don't have that gravitas. That if you pick up that sidearm in Destiny and you let off that sidearm and you looking at the clip run down and there's an audio cue to it too, like you know that you're running out and you're switching to the next gun and you're like bam, bam, bam. It's the feel, their gameplay. I'm so rooting for them that I just can't get off the ship now. I'm already this far in the ocean. I'm gonna drown if I get off. So I'm in the boat.
Salute to Psycho Game in the chat. You know what I'm saying? All day digital. That's what's up, man. Good to see you in the chat.
Yes, I'm loving this chat.
Merc in the building. And yeah, Merc, unfortunately, you are right. Yeah, division right now, that 1.8 is kind of popping. I ain't gonna lie. It's greater than Destiny right now. So we're gonna get into
Froggy.
Yeah, Frog's in the building. Everybody's in the building now. I'm real happy, man.
Frog's in the podcast.
Yeah,
I'm in here. What's going on?
What's up?
What's going on?
We got Frog in the building. Okay.
Loving the conversation. You brought me back to some of my days when you were talking about just the way you do your podcast, and I think that's what's great about the community is to bring people back to their childhood memories of gaming. That's a great thing. It's a great thing.
That's what it's about, man.
Definitely.
I think I hit that senior demographic just right.
I think there's a bunch of seniors.
You know what young wolf. you know what you hit? You hit that Toys R Us kid.
There you go. That's what I do.
We grew up with that. I don't want to grow up. I'm a Toys. That feel, that song. Listen, my man cave downstairs. That's the essence of that. You walk in it, you like, man, this dude is wilding. Like, this is a time capsule. Like, this is crazy.
That man, man cave.
I feel you. I love your podcast.
I'm taking him back to playing with big wheels and stuff.
Oh, you know that, boy. When you hit that brake button and you spin out,
you do the skin.
Yeah,
we talk about this all day.
Yeah.
So I want to get into the last week's ILP poll results. They're in, and the people have spoken to the question: with the tremendous success of the Switch, is Nintendo getting a pass for continuing to port or remaster Wii U games? Examples like Mario Kart, Mario Tennis, Hyrule Warriors, etc. to the Switch. The winner at 47% in a fairly competitive three-way ILP poll is the no. It's smart business. Most skipped out on the Wii U group. Coming in at second place at 35% was the yes. These are cash grabs and old IPs group. And at third place, our shallow crew at 18% was the I don't care. What's up with that Smash Brothers though? So the Team Shallows were in the building. Thanks to all who participated.
Ever notice every one of your choice always is like sarcasm? Like it's.
But you know what's funny? The last two polls, when I do like the shallow or the quote unquote sarcasm, they've actually won or been second place.
That's because that's how everyone legitimately feels.
I think it's like it invokes you and Anchorman. You guys have that feel a lot. So thanks everyone. So real quick, Lord Fonzerrelli, let's start with you. What do you think about what the people are saying about the Wii U ports, and what's your whole stance on that?
You know what? A lot of times I do say that Nintendo gets passes for a lot of things, but in this situation, when not a lot of gamers have experienced these games, they're fresh, they're new to all these people. So, if they port these over, nobody touched them on the Wii U, so they can experience them here now. And I think it's a smart business move. I really do.
Yeah, absolutely. Lord Frog, we got you in the building. So what do you think about these ports coming over? Do you think it's good business? Do you think it's just cash grab? Where you at with this?
Well, as a Nintendo, every console owner, I own the Wii U, and I would honestly say, there's a lot of games I didn't particularly want to see come back, but I think it's smart business because the Wii U in its own right wasn't very successful. So I think this is smart business wise for the fan base that didn't get to play the games. And these are phenomenal games. I mean, Donkey Kong is a great game. But for me personally, there's a lot of games I'm like, I don't want to rebuy this. I don't want to rebuy this because I had a Wii U.
Right.
But as far as looking at Nintendo and them giving a product to the consumer base out there, I think it's very smart business. So, I think it's smart business. I think it's smart business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Lord King, I know you. I think me and you are on the same page with this, right?
Well, how I feel about it is I'm like Drake, and she's old to you, but she new to me. So it's just that's the fact of it. But a lot of development time and dollars went into these games. And if you're gonna stretch it out, Capcom has been using that same format forever. If you've looked at it, these guys have a great game, have a new system, and in between launching these blockbuster games that they have in development for years, let's put out the games that we put in development for years on the other system that didn't get that recognition or didn't get seen as much, and let's put those out. Let's see if it hits. If it resonates, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Some people didn't get the Wii U. I got the Wii U. Am I buying Donkey Kong Freeze? Yes, just because of that Cool Kong dude. That Cool Kong dude was not inside the Donkey Kong Freeze that I have, so I have to get that one.
No doubt, no doubt. And Lord Attic, I'm assuming you okay or you don't care.
No, actually, I'm on Nintendo's side this time.
Wow, I'm shocked. Okay.
Like, these are the same people that, look, regardless how you feel about these games coming out, ain't nobody said nothing about Microsoft bringing out the Master Chief Collection. That's 5. No one said nothing about them bringing how many different versions did they bring back with Fable Anniversary? They actually re-brought them all out one time, all the Fables in one package. Killer Instinct was a remake. That was a little bit different of a story. I mean, they literally brought the Rare collection, which was like 30.
Right.
You're right.
Last of Us remake.
Absolutely. If you look at the start of the generation, the majority of it was remastered from the 360 and PS3. If you remember.
This is my counter to that that argument every time it comes up. What's a game that is they're talking about right now? So let's say, what's a good game I can use for this?
Shadow of Colossus?
No, I'm talking about for Nintendo.
Oh, for Nintendo?
That's being remastered?
Yeah.
Hyrule Warriors.
Okay, Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, Hyrule Warriors.
When does that come out?
I don't remember the date.
Let's say it comes out tomorrow. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake, it comes out tomorrow. Guess what would have came out tomorrow if that game didn't come out tomorrow? Nothing.
Right.
Oh, good point. Good point. And you have the option not to buy it.
That's right. Vote with your wallet. You don't want it, don't buy it.
No doubt. So yeah, man, we're gonna get into these topics now. Lord Frog, I hope not to bore you and Lord Attic, because we got a special little topic for this catered towards Lord Fonzerrelli. Because he had his MMA podcast before, and he's a lord of combat sports. And yesterday was a big day in combat sports. We had Showtime boxing. We had UFC 220. We even had a little Bellator going on.
Twitter blew up that he won. Like my Twitter blew up.
It was crazy.
It's something that my Twitter blows up with MMA news.
Exactly. That should let you know. So let's start with Lord Fonz, the lords of combat sports in the building. We're gonna have a quick segment here. Lord Fonz, did you catch what did you catch last night? What are your impressions?
All right, I caught the UFC main card, and I caught little bits of Bellator, not much of it, but I saw that it was all decisions basically, and yeah, it's par for the course of Bellator. Just the matchups and everything are always terrible.
The old men wheezing.
Like that Social Security League. Come on.
Boy, they have the oxygen tanks in the corner. They looking at each other with the pupils dilated.
They're the only ones out there with the geriatric, division.
That's right. They're the ones that okay the drugs.
The PEDs running loose.
Hell yeah, man. They even have the guy right outside the ring injecting them. You need it now? Save that injection for the third round.
Disrespect of Bellator right now.
Yeah, it's Bellator, but UFC, man, I was pretty impressed. with the way the Stipe fought. Holy crap, man.
versus Francis Ngannou, the Predator.
Dude,
Out of
I was
control.
expecting a knockout on that fight, and wow, and Cognito, you were the one that told me, we got to see if Stipe or if Ngannou was gonna last after the second round, and
Yeah,
Mhm.
hit it right on the head, man. And
absolutely.
Stipe fought a beautiful fight.
Beautiful
And
fight.
people, and a lot of people were telling me, "Oh, it was a boring fight." I'm like, "What? The dude
You know
fought
why?
It was a masterful fight by.
It's
by
a
Stipe.
boring fight for those people that want that. Oh, feeling. Whoa, it's over. It's over. No, we're gonna choke you out on this floor
That's the thing
and pound your forehead and twist your leg out.
That's the thing about mixed martial arts. You know, a lot of people
really
would say,
fight since GSP left. Not saying.
well, a lot of people. Well, I've seen some boring fights, but but when it comes to mixed martial arts, a lot of people will tell me I liked old UFC back in the day when anything goes and all this stuff. I said, if you want to see some real boring fights, watch that old stuff because they'd be laying on the ground for 25 minutes, not knowing what they're doing.
Nobody telling them to stand up. Yeah.
I mean,
No, but
people
here's
were
the thing.
dying because of that.
Well, no, here's the thing. I appreciate a good ground game. I appreciate jujitsu. I appreciate all facets of mixed martial arts. That's what it's about. But back then, they knew nothing of jujitsu. That's why you had people like Royce Gracie coming in.
Dominating.
But what they did have was what was the funniest, and this is how they would set it up to be like boxer versus karate.
Basically.
Like, yo, yeah, I got that boxer. Until that boxer leg is taken out and you see your favorite boxer on the floor being choked out by a kung fu gi, you're mad as hell.
You're right. It was almost like set up, the old ones almost set up like a blood sport kumite kind of.
Yeah, it was awesome. I love all the generations of it. I mean, yes, the blood sport aspect was fun.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I had fun watching it back then too, but there were some boring fights where they just laid there for 25 minutes. It was ridiculous.
Absolutely.
But nowadays, like, if you're really into the game and you understand what's going on when they go to the ground and what they're trying to pull off with these submissions and stuff, you should respect what Stipe did last night.
Absolutely.
Man, I was not expecting him to win. And look, I was, you know what? I'm mad at myself and I'm eating crow because I shouldn't have went against the champ, because that's my rule of thumb. You never go against the champ.
Yep, the champ lose. Yep, he got there for a reason.
He showed Ngannou why he's there, and it really impressed me.
He didn't listen to the talk on the paper because on paper he was supposed to be knocked out in 31 seconds. So he didn't listen to that.
No.
I like this fact.
He's such an underdog as a champion coming into the fight.
Listen, Addict, let me tell you something. If you looked at some of those betting lines, the betting lines told you they had a betting line that had 31 seconds in. The first punch landed that this guy was going to beat him. I mean, like,
I've never been so glad people have been screwed my whole life than I am right now.
Well, what I've noticed, if you notice, the key to his whole thing was trapping that leg. When he was on the floor, like trapping his leg, and I don't know, I just saw a sense of panic in this guy's face, in his eyes.
And it was what you just nailed it. Is what me and Fonzerrelli were talking about, because my concern is, I was like, look, we all know if Ngannou catch him, it's night, right? But the thing is, in back of my mind, okay, what happens if he doesn't? What's gonna happen? One, we're gonna see where Ngannou's cardio is. The other thing, I never knew Stipe to be a great wrestler. But for him to employ that game plan just showed me how intelligent he was, and how, like Fonzerrelli was saying, like keeping him pressed up against the cage, putting that body weight on him, just wearing the big man down so that each subsequent round, the punches don't have that sting, right?
And don't forget about that head movement too, man. He was getting away.
No, he wasn't going to touch that head.
Absolutely. But let's give Stipe some credit too, because Ngannou did catch him a couple times. And he got rocked, but he was still in the mix. Like pretty much every round he was kind of in danger. But to give him credit, man, I actually tweeted, I was like, Stevie, my bad.
But give Ngannou credit for not giving up.
Yes, not quit.
Because he could have quit, like a lot of bullies do. And when the pressure is on them and when they're down and then they're in the corner, the fight is out of them. You see the dog leave. Like somebody yelled out yesterday on my Twitter feed, I miss Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is the epitome of a real bully. When it don't work, he folds up like a ham sandwich, and it's time to eat him, and it's gone. You know, so shout out to Big Boy who took his whooping because he got paid. Listen, they got their checks. Their checks is good. So he got paid to fight, and he fought the best he could. But one dude understood the key, that leg.
No doubt. Lord Frog, did you catch any of it, or you
I
got
caught, no, I caught snippets after.
Okay.
I usually try to catch it when it's going on. I like to watch it live as it's happening. I didn't catch it. I was a little busy, but yeah, I love mixed martial arts. I'm a huge Gracie fan.
Oh, nice. I was worried I was boring you in this segment.
No, I'm a huge, huge Gracie fan. I did a lot of mixed martial arts and stuff when I was in the military. Did a lot of grappling.
Well, that's mandatory for you guys. Y'all can't be caught out in the field with wax skills.
Oh yeah, because you might not always have enough, bullets to take. But yeah, I love that stuff. I think it's become the boxing. A lot of people want boxing to come back to where it used to be.
Boxing was back last night. Don't even go there.
We're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. I got you.
Yeah, I got a true champ for you. If you didn't see it, I'm gonna show you what the true champ is. I'm gonna show you what that UFC should have been last night in a few seconds.
No doubt. We got you.
I'm pacing around this computer right now. I'm pacing around the
computer. No doubt. Continue, Love Frog.
No, but I love it. I love to see it. I love to see the like you were saying, the intelligence of the fighters. That's really, to me, when you see a fight and you can tell when the fight's good, you can see the person that they're not just using their brute strength. They are intelligent. They're thinking about every move. They're thinking about how to counter this person, and it really shows that these people are just more than just a muscle. They're intelligent, and that's what I like to see. I like to see fights like that. I like to see, somebody really use that. Okay, well, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, I got to use what I got and in an intelligent way to take this opponent out. And that's the best fights. Those are the best fights.
Absolutely. And of course, we had another fight on that card, Lord Fonzerrelli. We had a DC defending his title. So did you catch that? And what were your impressions of that one?
All right, my first thought about this is, what the hell was Vulcan doing in there against him anyway? I know. Look, I know the guy's on a 5-win streak, but 3 of those are the only ones in the UFC. And he beat dudes like Misha Kirkanov and Jimmy Manawa. And Jimmy Manawa's all right, but
it's all right. Yeah,
come on. I mean, he did beat Oven St. Preux, but it was by split decision. And I think that the dude had no business in there. All right. I just think that they couldn't get that fight with what's his name? Who's the dude? The guy John Jones fought and he almost
Demetrius Johnson.
You mean Gustafson?
No,
Gustafson.
Yeah. I'm thinking of his latest fight.
Yeah, they couldn't get that fight together because Gustafson wanted to give it some time or something, and I think they threw Vulcan in there, and it showed. It showed that there was a guy that was just a step above.
Absolutely,
Cormier made him look bad.
Absolutely, I think so. I mean, and not to touch back on Ngannou, it kind of reminded me. The fights kind of mirrored each other to me because it was one of those things that once Plan A doesn't work, and then they had to go to the ground, they just both looked lost. Yeah. Like they didn't know what to do, especially Vulcan. Like he didn't know what was going. And to be honest, he's lucky after round 1. Remember, he was done. Like he got saved by the bell. He was getting choked out while the seconds counted out.
Yeah.
So it was interesting, but I totally agree with you, man. And really, real quick, Lord Fonz, where do you think DC goes from here? There's rumors now of him possibly going up to heavyweight. Because Stipe may have flushed out the division. We don't know if Kane's coming back.
He mentioned afterwards that Kane's coming back. Okay. But I don't want to hear that mess because honestly, Kane's always hurt. I don't want to see him as the champ because he's always getting pulled out.
And I love Kane, but the problem with those guys at AKA, they train so hard, and especially Kane with the way he fights and his cardio, he's always susceptible to injuries.
Well,
and it's not fair to the division.
You're right, and you hit it on the head. They do train too hard. Some of these camps, they spar really hard, like they're really fighting and stuff. And that kind of stuff, I've heard other fighters talk against that.
You lose yourself in the gym.
Yeah,
it's not. It's
not good. That's the big thing.
and he's always getting hurt. He's always getting hurt in the gym. So that tells you right there.
Yeah, that's the difference between, you know, boxing and MMA. When you go into a boxing training camp, you have how many rounds you're gonna spar there. You're gonna have how many rounds you're gonna you know, bag work and stuff like that. All this stuff is like petered out. If a real trainer is working with you, this stuff is all programmed into what you're gonna do per day, and rest is key to all of it.
No doubt. So speaking of rest, Lord King, I'm gonna pass that to you. As far as the boxing, I gotta be honest. Like I was, shout out to Lord Cognito too. You guys put me on to something last night that I was very pleased about. So I'll tell the people what was going down on Showtime Boxing right quick.
Lord Cognito, you can stand up next to your laptop or your computer, your phone right now. You can put your hand in there and understand that New York City was rocking last night. You know, you have Brooklyn. It was in the house. Manhattan was lit with the UFC. New York City, I mean, you felt it in the air. People wanted to fight. You wanted to get it in. You know, I was driving past somebody and was like, "Yo, watch it, man! I'm walking over here. I'm walking over here. Watch yourself." So I felt the energy, and you know, the champ was in the streets. Errol Spence Jr., if you don't know, he's the second coming of everything that's great about boxing.
Absolutely.
Well, we're gonna start with the undercard where you had Robert Easter Jr. versus Javier Fontana. That kid, Fontana, he was so he lost the fight on the scales. When you don't respect the
he didn't make weight?
No, he didn't make weight. He came in overweight. And sometimes that's a tactic for people. You understand? If they feel that they can't beat the champ or they can't beat somebody, they come in overweight and they try to use that weight, you know, that little extra, those little extra pounds, it does matter.
Oh, it does. Look at GSP.
Yeah, it does. It's serious. So he came in overweight. So even if he would have won, he wouldn't have got the belt. But what you saw was the pedigree of a champion. Robert Easton Jr. boxed his ears off for 12 rounds and leaned on him, but Shorty was in the pocket, hitting him and yelling and trying to steal rounds like you would do, like rally at the end and throw your hands up real quick and stuff like that. But he deserved the loss. He got penalized for punching in the back of the head. But what everybody came for, and this is the new boogeyman of boxing. You know, Errol Spence Jr., if you don't know him, he is the boogeyman of boxing. The reason why he's the boogeyman, remember, everybody don't understand why Floyd was so successful. No drinking, no eating retarded food meals and stuff like that, and no fluctuating between weights between fights. And being sensible. Right, y'all can say anything I want about Floyd. There's never been any drugs. He doesn't, you know, he womanizes. That's his thing. But he's not married, so he can womanize as much as he likes. That's his business. You know, he paid for that. That's his business. Let that man womanize. Everybody got a drug. So, but the key to his success was he didn't abuse his body. That's why that 40-something-year-old man right now can go out there and whip a lot of dudes' butt. Errol Spence Jr. is the epitome of the Floyd. Pretty boy Floyd camp.
Yeah, he definitely has that vibe. Definitely has that with his stance, the way he throw. You know, I won't say his defense is at the level, but I'm gonna keep a buck with you, Lord King. Like, you know, Lord Fonzerrelli, like, I haven't watched boxing in a long time. You know, I converted to UFC, MMA probably for the last 5 to 6 years, and I was just so disgusted with boxing. Like, I grew up with the whole, you know, the Roy Jones era, the Oscar De La Hoyas, the, you know, Floyd, the pretty boy Floyd, not when he was money made. You know what I'm saying? Those are the guys I like, you know, the Vander Holyfields and the Tyson era. Like, those are the era I like. So when that kind of went out and then there was a lot of corruption and all that stuff, it kind of turned me off. And then MMA kind of came up on the rise, and then I kind of stuck with it. So shout out to Lord Cognito, shout out to Lord King. They were telling me about this Spence kid. Haven't watched boxing in a while. And I tuned in. I said, all right, let me see. I have to admit, if you guys are not boxing guys, this is a kid to watch. You know what I mean? He's undefeated. He really is fundamentally sound.
When it comes to really anything, anyone undefeated is always fun to watch.
No, but he's beaten some cool people, from some nice people on the resume. And he just looks dangerous. Like, he was hitting the guy that he was fighting was a top contender, like one of these game contenders, with like things that a normal person would fold. And I don't even know how that guy was. What was this guy that he was fighting last night?
Peterson. He was fighting Peterson.
I'm sitting there tweeting Requena like, I don't understand how this guy is still standing up under this heat. And what's more impressive about Errol Spence Jr. was not his cardio, his work rate, and it's just he just looks like a beast, man. So yeah, Slew Lord King for making me watch that one. You might have me watch boxing for this kid. This kid
for this kid, he is Terry Norris. If you remember terrible Terry Norris back in the days where he hit you and you like, oh my God, he hit that guy. I think he broke his head. This kid, his jab, he started off because I guess Peterson thought he was going to come in, he was going to bully him because Peterson's shoulders, he looked like he got shoulder pads on when he fighting. And he stood in front of him and he said, that's not the place to be tonight, bro. Like, I'm going to keep hitting you until you move. And he was hitting him, and then Peterson will land a good shot. And when you hit somebody with your best shot, and they take it, and they actually smile, and it's not like I'm smiling for the cameras. No, he took this shot, and he smiled at him like, that's what I wanted you to do. Like, I said, he's trying to kill him. And at the end of the fight, because they started to stop the fight, his corner was like, nah, man, you're gonna have to stop. It was a round too late, to be honest with me. I thought it was
I
over.
felt so too.
Yeah, like I said. But he told him, you're supposed to die on the battlefield. This is his mentality. So unless somebody drags you out of there, I'm there to kill you on this battlefield. And every shot that he hit this man with, I'm pretty sure Peterson feels it today. Those body shots, he's not going to the bathroom, right? There's a lot of blood out there coming from different orifices out of his body in that toilet bowl today. And shout out for him for my sport, for taking those beatings and for my entertainment. Thank you.
Lord Fonz, like I said, check out this kid. I know you're MMA to the core, and I'm pretty much the same way. But this is somebody that if he fights, I'm going to pay attention to it.
There's sometimes I'll watch somebody fight in boxing and it really impresses me. There's certain fights out there that are great. It's just that usually the main spectacle fights, are usually not the ones to watch,
Yeah. You talk about Pacquiao Mayweather.
For instance, yeah, and then you had McGregor and Mayweather. It was just come on.
What you saying? You used the right word for that. That was a spectacle, and I don't know why anybody thought somebody with no boxing history was going to go in there and beat a master boxer.
Because like Cognito, I go way back. I go to the Hearns, the Durans, the Haglers. Dude, Sugar Ray back in the day. I used to watch all those fights with my dad as a youngin', and just like love watching that stuff. And then as I got older, it grew into the Evander Holyfields, the Tysons, and all that.
Oh, yeah.
And Tyson is my all-time favorite boxer. That man, when in his prime, he could not be beat. Yes. I don't care who he was in front of. He was gonna maul that person.
Yeah, he was matched properly.
Oh my God!
Listen. I'm a Evander Holyfield guy.
You say the wrong
thing. And I used to box, and I used to spar with a lot of these top heavyweights and stuff like that. And the word in the streets is, when they did spar when they was younger, Holyfield started getting the best of him, and Mike lost his cool. But Holyfield always pursued that fight, and Don King, sent Tyson to jail. By giving him a tax attorney as a trial lawyer, to put him on freeze because he was out of control. He was on drugs. He was doing this thing. Backdoor stuff for y'all guys. So when he came out, Tyson was bigger than ever. You understand? But he was never going to beat a guy that can box him, that wasn't afraid of him, that wasn't, because Tyson was a Similac baby.
Lord King, you been there.
That's right. He had to bite that ear. He had to get in there and bite that ear.
But when you go back and watch old footage of both of these guys in their prime, Evander and Tyson, Tyson was a madman.
Yeah, he was super intimidating.
I'd never seen anybody punch as hard as
BRAP.
Man. It was crazy, but
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
and after all that, the stuff that was going on, then people were talking about fixed fights and all this stuff with Don King.
A lot of those fights, and every fight is fixed. Even in MMA, man.
Bellator, yes, I'll agree with you with Bellator.
I was waiting. I wanted you to. I
Bro.
really wanted you to go in on that Bellator because you didn't go in as much as I wanted to. I love the dirtiness of that sport. I love it. It feels like Kumite.
Here's the thing with Bellator, you notice that these guys are always fighting in these Indian casinos and these unsanctioned.
Yes.
And they do that purposely because PEDs run rampant. In Bellator.
So I'm not lying when I said they had to do it outside, ready for the injection at any point.
You got the Lord of all PEDs, Chael Sonnen, fighting on your card.
If Chael is fighting in your league without an issue, that's a problem.
and so you got all that going on, and then you got these fixed fights. I mean, you look at some of these fights and you're like, really, who was it? Gracie versus Shamrock? That was totally rigged. There was this one fight this one time with some nobodies, and I'm not lying to you guys. I wish I could find this fight on YouTube or something, but I could not find it after this. I wish I would have recorded it, but this dude was getting uppercutted up against the cage, and the dude was throwing fast uppercuts, and the guy's head was bobbing up and down, boom, 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 you know. And then the dude stopped throwing uppercuts, and the dude's head kept bobbing up and down like he was getting punched. It was so bad. It was worse than like wrestling acting. You know, it was so bad.
Who won last night? Did Rampage win, or was it
Chael won by decision, man. Like every fight was
the
decision.
geriatrics.
So yeah, those are the people. They didn't miss too much. It was kind of like the senior citizens tour.
Bellator, you know, like I said, I still watch them, but it's kind of whack.
Yeah, I feel you. So yeah, it was a good little night of combat sports. You know what I'm saying?
So enough for the combat sports. That was the first card of the year, first good card of the year, and I'm glad that UFC and boxing is walking this road hand in hand because they've been doing it all last year.
Could I say one more thing? Could I say one more thing about PEDs though? Because I saw Xbot. You know, I know he's joking. He's all like PEDs go, you know, more entertainment. But here's the problem with PEDs, and this stems into football as well and every other sport. I think PEDs lend a hand to all these domestic violence cases and stuff. And that's why I'm against, like, you know, all this stuff being used, because if you look at the correlation between PED use within a sport and domestic violence, it's huge. There's something going on there, and I think that might lend a hand into that, and that's why
I'm gonna have to go to the other side on that because you know we all know that you know WWE and wrestling and stuff like that. That's all they do is use that. So and the domestic violence cases in WWE and wrestling situations is lower than it is in football. Now you're probably gonna say that there's more football players than there is WWE or wrestling type of situations. Right. So you want to skew the numbers to fit. But what I might say is this: if you train someone to be an animal for X amount of time on the field, some people can't turn that switch off.
Exactly.
So I don't think, you know, it's pretty much either the drugs that they're using. I just feel that once you turn somebody into that animal, and anytime confrontation hits them or any type of roadblock to them in life, they could be in a store and the guy tells them, well, no, you didn't buy that. You have to pay for that. And they'll take it to a totally different way. Right. Opposed to another individual. So if you train somebody to be a killer and he does killer things, it's not the killer's fault. It's the trainer. So I will say this: I'm not a proponent for PEDs, but I'm not going to blame everything that happens adversely on PEDs.
No, I wouldn't blame everything either. I'm just saying some of these definitely. I think there's a correlation there.
Yeah.
So if that's all we got on combat sports, we're gonna wrap it up. We don't want to get the gaming community too upset with us.
You know what? This year, Addict, I love you. I love you, Addict. I'm gonna tell you why. Last year's addict would have been like, oh boy, here we go. King, would you shut up with this already? And I'm telling you, my love fest, my bro love for you this year. I don't know what happened. I don't know what transpired, but I love you, brother. I'm telling you right now on live television, not Puff Daddy love or P Diddy or whatever you call himself love. I love you, brother.
Last year's addict is definitely this year's addict. I was just scrolling through my Facebook waiting.
Oh my God. So on that note, we're gonna move on. Get to these games. So yeah, it's been a big week for Microsoft, and it's the reign of booty. Got my man Lord BRAP in the building. You know what I'm saying? So booty. BRAP, what's up, baby?
Booty everywhere.
Oh my God.
We got a full house, but like I said, it was a big week for Microsoft. I mean, they made the announcement that they had promoted Matt Booty to the leader he's a leader previously from Minecraft game business. So now he's going to be the corporate VP of Microsoft Studios. So it's another addition by Satya Nadella and Phil Spencer. So he's going to basically overtake that Phil Spencer role. And I thought it was interesting that he's going to be overseeing, developing, publishing a lot of Microsoft games for PC and multiple platforms. And that actually, he's actually going to be running the head, which includes 343, Coalition, Mojang, which he was previously a part of, Rare, Turn 10, and Global Publishing. So all those, like Bonnie Ross and Shannon Loftus, and I believe Alan Hartman and Ferguson, I mean Turn 10 and Coalition, these guys will all report to Booty now. So he is the man.
Report to the Booty. All hands on Booty.
So I thought it was interesting. You know, they
on line one.
Got a call from Booty. He got a booty call.
Oh my God. I missed my booty call.
Y'all savages with the jokes. I knew the jokes. So yeah, they got a chance to sit down with him and Phil Spencer as well. And they talked about, I know one of the parts during the interview process that Phil had spoke to him about was that, you know, what aspect of gaming are you historically associated with, whether it be the business side, creative side, or the technical side. And he kind of said it was a mixture of all, because basically he used to be a developer. He was a CEO also at Midway, so he got the exposure to the business side. But he definitely got a little bit of a mix of all three. And one of his philosophies was actually just to let the gaming teams just do their thing and actually provide just assistance to the studio. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Yep. And I wanted to bring this to the Lords. You know, obviously it's the reign of the booty. We're going to bring it to Lord Fonzerrelli first, and then we get Lord BRAP and Lord Frog in there as well. You know, what do we think about this? Is this positive? What was your overall impressions of said news? Lord Fonzerrelli, the reign of booty. Let's go.
I think one positive thing I could take away from this, because I don't know much about Booty, to be honest.
You don't know much about
Let's call him Booty. His name is Matt.
Oh God!
This podcast, if we spend 15 seconds giggling every time Booty comes up, okay?
You know what's LA, man? This is the best name we had since Resi Fizame. All right, so we're gonna have to ride with this for a little bit.
Look, I got 8 kids. I know a lot about Booty, but we're talking about Matthew. All right, but I think that Matthew Booty, this promoting him is a much better, I think, guy to promote than some of the other people. And I won't mention any names that I thought. Well, you said it. I thought he would be promoted, and I was dreading that. Dreading that just because of the games and everything that we have first party now, like Zoo Tycoon and, you know, Super Lucky's Tale and things like this. I mean, that's great for the kids and all, but I want those adult games. I want some games to come to the brand that really speak to us as adult gamers. And I just think that she wouldn't have brought that in that position. I think that Booty, I think he'll do it for us. I think he'll bring some.
What in his resume allows you to think that he's going to bring adult or mature content?
You know what? There's nothing in his resume because I don't know much about his resume. I'm just hoping for that. I'm hoping for that.
Okay. So you
it's a
thought
better
it would be
choice.
better than what she had on her
Yes.
resume, and because her indication was to go younger, where
Well,
this
basically,
guy's indication is open.
I'm looking at the track record that we know of with her, and
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Cool.
Gotcha. Fair enough. Fair
Cool,
enough.
cool. Yeah. I'm just, I was just looking at the thought process behind it as well, because I felt that I think Phil is a genius. All right, so I don't care what anybody said. Anybody could, come at me for that. But I think Phil is a genius when he takes the individual that nobody can pretty much argue with, because not too many people understand or know the dude well, and those people that do know him well know his accolades as far as what he has done with Minecraft and moving it in the direction it has gone to. Whereas maybe the deal with Nintendo was the sealer on that. That relationship that he built over there. So we know that Booty is in charge of this, and I'm gonna start calling
everything, bro.
Yeah, I'm gonna start calling him Matt, because I'm gonna start hitting him with the Matt. And we know that Matt is in charge of this section now. Does that help facilitate that stuff that we were talking about as far as the deficiencies on Nintendo's system and bridging that gap?
With Nintendo.
Listen, brother, as long as it's out there and it's talking, there's chatter about it, there's possibilities for it. And when one person has a need that they haven't addressed and one person has an abundance of it, yeah, come share this fruit, brother. I'm about that. I'm about that. I think that will be epic.
Yeah, you
One to
do
twins
Illuminati
activate.
podcast again. Lord BRAP, Booty Rain.
My thoughts. So initially, I guess obviously the name was kind of funny, haha, Matt Booty, but
someone did not just say booty on stage.
Yeah,
the chat is lit.
Yeah. Look, the guy has industry experience, 25 years in the industry. He came in the industry as a developer, knows the business. That's great, right? I think we all assumed that they were going to hire somebody who knew the business. The one takeaway that I'll say, and this is something that he mentioned in the interview with, I think, VentureBeat, where he really wants the studios to really interact and engage with one another. And that's something that Sony does a lot. In terms of
that's the whole reason Horizon Zero Dawn. Actually, technically, Horizon Zero Dawn, the ideal came from Naughty Dog, and they gave that ideal to who made that game again?
Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla Games, and they made it off of Naughty Dog's thought process on the game.
Yeah, and so I think that's obviously a change in direction from what they have historically done internally from a first party perspective. So I'm on board with that. I'm like, great. They obviously see the value in that. They know that Sony does it. More recently, Sony and Guerrilla and Kojima, have been talking, and they've given Kojima the Decima engine to for his new game. So, this could bring about some sharing of ideas or maybe some new ideas for new titles. I just feel like, and I said this on BRAP on Wednesday, and a rant that I did this on Thursday as well. I'm sorry, on Friday. I kind of feel like they've turned a corner. I think for Phil, he had a very hard job coming into this in 2013 or after 2013. They killed the Kinect. They have the hardware in place now. They got rid of the power narrative, and now they can really focus on kind of building back up first party.
You make a good point there. It's kind of hard to make games when your games that you make are going to be attacked for underperforming, unquote.
Yeah, well, the hardware is solidified, right? They've got that, like Lord BRAP was saying, it's down. So now, like you were saying, like that, now they can actually get the focus onto the games, and this is the one in charge. But continue, Lord BRAP. I'm sorry.
No worries. And I think the only thing I'm going to say is just kind of temper everyone's expectations. I don't think we're going to see an influx of 3 or 4 new IPs at E3 2018 this year. I think they're more focused on the next console, more so content for that from an exclusive perspective than they are, I think, right now. I think right now, the narrative is, hey, you can play the best versions of your games on the X, and they're going to ride with that for a while. And then it's going to be more of, hey, here's a new system. And by the way, we have, not only do we have the Halo, and then we have the Gears, we have, a sequel to, Cuphead, but we also have these new IPs that are coming out. We have a new Fable that's coming out.
Fable,
yeah. So I think that the focus that we're seeing today, we're not going to see for another couple of years or so, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road.
So basically, you're thinking it's like it's an investment on the fruits of labor, like down the road. Gotcha.
Absolutely, it is.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see where you're going with it.
Yep.
Lord Frog, what do you think about the reign of booty?
I think
Jesus.
I think Matt being in the position he is, I think he's been in the industry for a long enough time. You know, he's a veteran, and that's how I kind of look at it. You know, with him being with Midway and Williams, he's a veteran. You can look at, you know, some of his past experiences, like, you know, and I remember on Twitter, I think he was talking about he had a quote, and his quote was similar to kind of Shigeru Miyamoto's, where he said, you know, he was talking about games, and you know, Shigeru Miyamoto says the delayed game is eventually a good game, but a rush one is bad forever. And I think that philosophy is gonna be something he implements, because of the way he says, you know, let these studios kind of do their thing and step in when they need help, but let them have the kind of free hand. I think that's right now, especially, the Xbox brand needs that. Their studios need that. Yeah. They definitely need that. They need to be able to say, okay, and you know, step in if you say you're wasting money bad, but let them kind of have that free reign. Let them go out there and develop other IPs. I think this could be what do they say? It's good for every once in a while to stir the pot up. I think this is good idea to stir the pot up, you know, see what we get out of it. I think
they needed it because Sony allows their developers the time to develop, let the game develop, you know. And it always seems like either Microsoft is rushing it or pushing it, or we got leaks. Just, you know, like clean up the ship. Stop. If you're the top 2 or you're the top 3, act like it. Act like a champ.
Right.
Yeah, I can sloppy in these streets.
I agree with Lil Frog. I mean, definitely, man. Just you know, letting the studios do their thing. And shout out to Lord B Money in the chat. You know, that's one of the things he mentioned. He was just like, you know, sometimes we feel like sometimes Microsoft has a tendency to kind of get in the way. Sometimes it's just, you know, what's up, Lord Eggman? Allow them to just do their thing, you know, and that's important. So let's get on Lord Attic. What did you feel? The reign of booty when you heard the announcement?
I mean, when it comes down to it, I don't really think we should be focusing, you know, so much on Matt's position.
Or Matt?
I think what we really should be focusing on is the strategic area that Phil has put himself in now.
That's a good point.
When you get promoted to general and you let your you let someone in your army be you know, the captain, you know, you are a lot more frequent to giving the captain what he needs.
No, absolutely. These are great points. And to add on to Lord Addict's point, I think that you know, this is definitely a good move by Phil. You know, I like that there's a gaming guy in there, and I know Lord King, that's his Lord and Savior, Xbox only begotten.
And you know, people can say what they want. You know, people are always like, "Oh, Phil Spencer's done so bad that Microsoft's going to get him." I'm like, look, man,
why?
Microsoft
Who
promoted this man. And then Microsoft promoted him again. He's not going anywhere. Okay,
you got to look at what's going on with Phil Spencer. He basically
I'm not going into you know, he say she say stuff, but you know, this dude literally, they made a position for this man.
Absolutely.
And, you know,
well, change comes from within, and change comes from the top down, trickle down. Yep. So when you put that guy that you believe in his philosophy at the top, and you allow that to trickle down, and then he starts promoting and putting people in that shares his same philosophy, you start to get this one unified movement within the team. And I feel that's what's needed.
Microsoft, like sometimes the messaging was mixed and it was all over the place.
I think one of the biggest reasons that he got promoted so much within is he literally took a brand that was on the edge of death. It really was. Like, let's be real. Xbox was the laughing stock of the internet.
Absolutely.
One of the greatest turned that around. And I mean, let's be real here. It probably would be like, I wouldn't say half, but it would probably be 10 to 15 million less sold if Phil Spencer wouldn't have took what he did.
Who knows? Yeah. You seem like you want to jump in on something.
Oh no! I was pretty much going to say the same thing about Phil. He inherited a company that just was in turmoil. I mean, they were the laughing stock, and they were doing so bad. And he's turned a lot of it around. And yes, they focused a lot on hardware, but you know, he's investing in software now. And I understand it's going to take some time to see some of these games come to fruition. But hey, they'll eventually be here. But look, like with the Xbox One X, I'm loving that console right now.
And then plus,
honestly one of the my favorite consoles already. It's become one of my favorite.
Love it. Love the
if
X.
you look at it from the perspective of what he said legitly, you know what I'm saying? Like Phil Spencer said, his priorities was services, then his priority was hardware, and then it's first party games. That I don't know, maybe services and hardware were flop. For some reason, I feel like it was services first, then hardware, then games. And now it's no, like if you look at it from the perspective of rumors, when Game Pass is coming out, rumors on that, rumors on the Xbox One X, there's no denying it that now we're seeing hardcore rumors on the software side now. It's like that's the exact order that he gave.
Yeah, it's very promising for the start of 2018, just to see a lot of this positive, stuff come out and what you're hearing. And, back to you guys' overall points, pointing to Phil is just like, again, this is his ship now. He's getting to shape it. We're a couple of years removed from the Matrix era. He's getting to shape things in his vision, first party content in his vision. And I like the comment he made that he's not deaf to the meme out there regarding investing in first party content, stuff like that. And just a contrast to the beginning of 2017 when, around this time we're hearing about scale bound cancellations, we're hearing about all this negative stuff. And it just seems to be this kind of like a positive vibe going, right? A lot of good news trickling out and stuff like that.
Hey guys, real quick, I just want to say something about good news to kind of just piggyback on what you said, Cognito.
Sure.
Not even like 2 or 3 days into the new year, we got leaks of, the Fable game, Mech Assault. What else?
It don't matter. All I needed to hear was Fable.
Oh my God.
Rare and Perfect Dark. So, and now, we've heard, now the new appointment of Matt Booty and Z Huge. Z Huge put some news out there that was pretty
we're gonna get into that. That's the next time. We got you.
And then you gotta look from the perspective is, people act like this has happened randomly. I guarantee you Matt has known he's going to get this promotion for a couple months. This is when it finally went out publicly.
Oh yeah.
Guys, I want to ask you, have you guys talked to Phil personally at all?
Yes.
Okay. So he's such a nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
Amazing guy.
Yeah, like he honestly, it feels like he's your friend when he talks to you on,
Phil
on
Spencer is the only dude I know that can be a savage on Twitter and not be a savage in person. Like,
really?
This dude is a savage on Twitter, but he don't mean to be. Like,
well, he wasn't politically correct when I, spoke to him. He didn't want the PC answer from me because I gave him the PC answer. We had a function and everybody is, having a good time and, got a chance to talk to him and he asked me a question and I gave him the PC answer and he looked at me and was like, "That's bullshit." He's like, "Well, how do you really feel about that?"
Okay with the how do you really feel?
And I looked at him and I was like, "You ready for it? That's what you want?" And he was like, "Yeah." And
yeah, go ahead.
No, I mean, just to get the answer from the real answer from him, it took a different turn because a lot of people I was talking to that was there, and shout out to Aaron Greenberg. Aaron Greenberg, every time he sees me, gives me a hug.
Good people.
Some of those people there are real genuine people. Like they're not there like these corporate type of untouchables at the top and like, "Oh, don't touch me." They're the fans. Very accessible. Talk to us like the elite controller guy. Listen to some of the stuff that we said and gave us reasons for why it wasn't
salute Bill Stillwell and Lord King's right. And again, we're not trying to. There's no corporate shilling on it. A lot of it just comes down to a lot of these executives are not approachable.
And then you got to look from the perspective of we were at FanFest and sure that these same people were around E3.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a different thing.
That last event at FanFest, like I kid you not, like I'm pretty sure they told every big person that was working for the gaming department of Microsoft, "Look, you don't have to stay for the whole thing. But you gotta show up for some of it."
But we've ran into. At least I've ran into a lot of the execs outside.
That's what I'm about to say. Remember that time we was eating Lord Cognito?
Yeah, it's still the same.
they are the same.
They're the same. There's no, and we can smell the BS a mile. When me and Lord King, where we from, we know, and it's just
I was just saying that that's probably one of the reasons that they were so accessible to us is because we were at one of those events.
And to keep it real, a lot of these execs, even on the Xbox side, they don't game. But Phil games, and Phil, him, we were talking, and Phil has a long history of gaming. Like we went way back, and we talked about a lot of the same games we played and everything. So I respect that about the man too.
Absolutely.
Well, I think honestly, Phil Spencer just wants to see gaming as a brand, that even the Xbox brand, but just gaming and in central just succeed. He wants to see it successful because when you talk to him, you listen to his interviews, he talks about childhood gaming. He talks about the people that bring, when he would make comments about Nintendo and their success, is because he genuinely plays their stuff.
Yes,
it's not because he was that guy who's like, oh, Microsoft is doing or Xbox is doing, but he's like, I genuinely like what they're doing, and man, I wish I can take some of that success and put over here. He wants the Xbox brand to be successful, so I can respect that. Hey, I appreciate the invite. I'm gonna go ahead and jump out. I have some
no worries, we appreciate you for stopping by, man. We're gonna get you on for real.
Yes, I really appreciate it. Everybody's listening. Please like, subscribe, sub to these guys. This is an amazing podcast, and thanks again for the invite. Thanks to everybody in there.
Absolute pleasure, Lord Frog. We will get you
later,
back.
Lord Frog. Yes, man.
Thank you very much.
Later, bro.
All right,
good to meet you, Frog.
All right, man. Good meeting you, man. Take care.
Meeting you too.
Yeah, man. I think Frog nailed it, man. I mean, just he's a gamer, and it definitely comes out in conversations like Lord Fonzerrelli was saying. It's just you get that genuine sense, and I think that's where the fanboys lose. They lose it a little bit because they want him to be like this, to be something he's not. He's just a gamer.
They want to be the dude that's like, oh, you want that game? Nope, checkbook mine. Like that's what they want.
That's not how it works.
And it's like,
did you
it's like at the end of the day, I see, a comment in the section, would Microsoft be like this if they were in first place? Like, I don't know if we can legitimately have obviously there's a scenario where that could have happened, but we didn't end up with that scenario. So do you guys think if let's say that they were in first place and Don Matrick still left and Phil Spencer still took his place, do you think?
I don't think so, Attic. That's the thing. If they're in first place, I think the Don is still running the show.
No, I'm just saying in this scenario. I'm saying in this scenario, if Phil Spencer was still head of Xbox and they were on top, do you think Phil Spencer would still be as humble as he is?
I think Phil will be humble, but I think the issue comes down to a lot of times the company mindset as a whole changes, and they don't necessarily feel they have to cater as much to the gamer as far as features, services, things of that nature. I think that's where we see the shift, like, with PlayStation and Microsoft, depending on, who's in the leads. I think it's that over going above and beyond you don't see as much. Like right now, Microsoft is in that feel good going above and beyond. You're hearing about service.
What's going to happen if that happened is they would be doing it. Because what do you do when you have the when you had the highest install base, you had the most money in the industry.
You sit back and relax.
No, it's not that. It's you focus minorly on your first parties, fund them, and you just grab all the third parties.
No, it's true. I heard you saying. What do you guys think?
What Sony did this year, and that's what Microsoft did last year.
What do you got, Lord Fonzerrelli, Lord BRAP? What do you guys think if the roles were reversed and if that was the case? Do you think Microsoft would maintain that type of personality, that mindset?
Yeah, I don't think Phil changes as a person. I think they still have that mentality. I still think they roll out some services related type things. I still think we see Game Pass, maybe not as aggressive on the backwards compatibility stuff, but I can't say I see them changing much because I always feel like I feel like Phil had at some point once Satya took over and was like, all right, we're taking Microsoft in a different direction.
I do want to come out and say that we're talking about a Phil Spencer is head. If Don still was around, then this is completely involved. We're not talking about that scenario.
Continue, Love BRAP.
Yeah, but I just feel like he also had to maybe go to Satya, kind of maybe resell why gaming was important to Microsoft, considering this shift, Microsoft shift now from going from a company that was so reliant to Windows and everything, and
it did
now we now Satya was like, look, we need to be on every platform, and that's it.
It did.
That's how we're going to be competitive.
It did seem like in the past, I would say 5 years, since the Xbox One first launched, that Microsoft went from a back thought on gaming and the Xbox brand to like front and center on the Xbox brand.
Well, I think part of that's I think Phil had to show them, hey, look, guys, like here's other areas where we can drive revenue. I know it's not a sexy business model. I mean, the console business model has never really been a sexy model. I mean, it's you don't make much money, on the hardware, and you make it up on the software side of things.
Yep.
But if you're not selling software, you're losing money on the hardware mostly.
It's like I was saying, when me and Lord Cognito, and King David was everywhere. I can't remember if he was part of this conversation, but when we was at E3 and we were talking to that the dude who one of the lead people who designed the Elite controller. Yeah, he says that Reign, the Anarchy step ladder is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
he said the Elite controller almost got canceled like 15 times.
15 times.
Yeah,
the fight that he had to go through just to get it up the ladder during
they were
that
about to cancel that a week before it came out.
The struggles that he was explaining to us during the past leadership infrastructure really surprised us.
A lot of the information that he gave out to us that day when we took the time. Shout out to Lord Cognito for recognizing the man and acknowledging the man and bringing the man to the team so we can actually have the conversation with him. And shout out to him for being willing and open. For not
we gotta get
names.
David. We gotta get David on the show for sure.
Right.
Absolutely.
What was the funny
especially
thing?
with this new Elite controller coming out.
We definitely gotta get him on.
Because I want royalties on this because a lot of stuff that we talked about is in that controller. I see it from here, and I kind of want my money.
The funny thing is, he said that like they did a complete 360. They went from like, I don't know if the Elite's gonna be like this to like. He said he had remember Cognito? He said he had his own supply that he used.
Yes,
he said a week after it blew up and they sold out, they made that Elite console and they came in there and jacked all of his supply under the console.
Yeah, it's a funny story. Real quick before we move on, Lord Fonzerrelli, what do you think if the role was reversed? Would Microsoft still maintain this attitude?
I think so. I think with every exec, they have their own plans in place, and I think to a certain extent,
Phil Spencer Rose.
Yeah, I think that to a certain extent they stick to it. I know there's certain things that with Phil Spencer that he's sort of went back on, but I think as a business, you kind of have to look at it as a business, and
you always have to adapt. You can have to adapt completely by what you say from the beginning.
Exactly. And I think that's what he's doing. And that's great that he's doing that. Some people are bashing him because he's making some changes to what he initially said. But hey, that's him adapting. That's him making changes for the betterment of the company. And that is what he should do as a businessman.
Here's another.
And I think it's going to benefit us as well. It's going to be trickled down here. We're going to feel the benefit of that.
I got another question. Oh, I'm sorry, Fonz.
Oh, no. And I just think that, but yes, with every company, though, what will happen, though, is at certain points, if you're way on top, you can very easily slip to the bottom next gen. It happened with the 360 and the PlayStation, because with the PlayStation, you noticed last gen with the PS3, that momentum was shifting at the very end. And
that's what happens.
Was relaxed. And I think that it can very easily go the other way this next coming gen.
Good point.
Absolutely.
And, when it comes down to it, I do want to state that, people say that, Microsoft can't close that gap because they still lose MPDs every month. But let me tell you something right now. Usually around the last 2 or 3 years of a gen, one side has already hit its peak and it literally just starts getting the bare minimum every month. That's what happened to Xbox 360 last year. Well, at the end of that generation, it hit its peak. And the PS3 just started gaining so much ground so quickly.
Look at what Microsoft is focusing on right now. They've got so much going for them. They have so many game services and stuff that you can go with. Game Pass, EA, Access. You have the backwards compatibility. And if you look over at Sony's side, you have streaming, online streaming.
Me and Lord BRAP had a conversation on the BRAP Red just about this. Yep.
And then you have
that PlayStation Now crap.
And they've banked heavy on VR. And let me tell you something about VR. I think that it's fantastic that a lot of people do like it, but I think that this could very possibly go the way of 3D glasses and all that other stuff, watching 3D movies.
It's literally a rock throw.
Right
How
now,
far is it going over the river?
because it's not really, I mean, yes, it's selling to a certain degree, but it's not taking off. It's not huge. I don't think VR is going to be a huge thing like some of these people are thinking it's going to be right now anyway, because I think right now you have to have space for it. You have to have all these cables. Like it's very, just it's not streamlined yet.
Little Psycho said, "You best not say that bad about VR."
I'm sitting here on bated breath, waiting for him to finish his thought.
I do want to say something before you say something, King.
I do want to finish here and say that with the VR stuff, there's also a lot of people out there like myself that get motion sickness easily. They can't even use the current state of VR. So VR has a lot of hurdles to jump, and I think that's the wrong thing to be focusing on. That is why with the Xbox, when I heard about them going third-party VR, beautiful, fantastic. Let somebody else do it. Awesome.
Yep.
That is the way to do it, because they don't have to focus on that hardware. They can focus on games. That is the way to do it there. So I think next gen, hey man, anything can happen. I think Xbox can be the leaders next gen.
Let's finish up this VR stuff before we move on, because we got still a lot of stuff.
Let Attic make his point, then I'll just.
This isn't VR because I don't care about VR, but this is just one quick thing that I didn't get to state because we kept aggressively going through the topic. Do you think Monster Hunter would have come out if Phil Spencer didn't take over? I'm really thinking it wouldn't have. I don't think.
Well, let me finish the topic real quick on the VR and close that off. I think they learned a lesson on HoloLens. I think they saw how expensive that was, and how limited that was, where they decided, listen, let's just piecemeal off that VR talk to somebody else. Let it mature first, because it's in its infancy. Kudos to Sony for taking a step forward and trying to help in its infancy, being that they're the market leader. They didn't have to take the step out. But when you are the market leader and when you are leading, you're able to take these bold moves forward. So hopefully they can fix those things for people that get motion sickness and stuff like that. But as far as the VR goes, from their standpoint and their price point, they are aggressively attacking it, and I appreciate it, because once you play VR in their space, it adds an extra gun or extra bullet to their gun, and it's worth it for those who try it.
No doubt. So we're all pretty much on the same page as far as the rain of booty and the things that have been coming out between him and Phil Spencer in a positive direction that Microsoft is going in. But there's also some other news going on, right, Lord Addict? There's a possible announcement might be imminent. What's going on?
Yeah, apparently they might be announced. Microsoft might be announcing something here relatively soon. I think they said next week.
Yep. Yeah.
I think it's a State of Decay release date.
You think that's the digital announcement?
No, I do. I think it's a State of Decay release date.
Okay.
I'm hoping.
Well, I want to get Lord BRAP in on this, because I know he was one of the first ones to bring it to my attention, and I want to get him, let him kick this thing off. So we heard this from what is it, Industry Insider, or is it Z Huge was probably one of the first to bring us. So Lord BRAP, grab the floor. What do we know so far? What's being rumored?
So Z Huge in Reset Area, the Reset Era forums, kind of gave a quick broke some news with regards to Microsoft's budget, but more importantly the big news next week that they're going to make some announcement regarding how they treat digital games. And so the first thing that came to my mind, and again, this is pure speculation, I chat with Z Huge, but he hasn't given me any inside information. I was like, ooh, they figured out a way to do trade-ins.
Yep, my bad.
And I'm like, if they do that, I'm like, I first of all, I would probably never go. Well, depending on what the trading values are, like so long GameStop, and to me, if they can do that, if they figure out how to pull that off, if they can make it competitive with like a GameStop and what Best Buy offers, look out. I mean, talk about having the ultimate services platform for gamers.
Yep.
This would be something. I wanted, before I pass the Fonz on, shout out to the Inner Circle podcast last night. They definitely went on this. Shout out to Cal, B Money, and Anchor, and they were also talking about like what could this digital announcement be, right? So obviously, I'm gonna jump in right up. My hope is digital tradings, like you said. I mean, I think that would be huge. And then they started discussing, possibly what would be the percentage. Would it be like maybe 10% back on the game and stuff like that? So if it is, first of all, Lord Fonz, what do you think the digital announcement could be? And if it is digital trade-ins, what would you hope for?
I want it to be digital trade-ins. Okay.
So
even though as much as I want to know the street date of State of Decay 2, because I'm a big fan of the first.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge fan of State of Decay.
And just being co-op in that game, it's really got me excited.
You guys want to know like legitly what it could be?
What's
the
up?
family sharing that they said they were going to bring back.
That's the other option. Shout out to Cal. Shout out to Tick. They were on it. That was another option. But
that's
let Fonzerrelli finish up, and we're gonna get into that too.
Yeah, you know what? That it might be family sharing. I think he's right. But digital trade-ins would be beautiful, beautiful.
What if it's both?
Even if they gave us 10% back, even at 10% back, I would take it, man. That's awesome.
So what do we work out to, like what, $6 or so per game or something like that? Yeah.
I want them to be aggressive with it, as far as if you purchase a game and it has a stipulation on the time date or how much it's worth from this period to that period, and it degrades after a period of time. It gets lower and lower, like games do.
If they gave you a disclosure every time you buy a game that was like you can trade this back in and it had a time chart, I think that's fair.
Yeah. That's it. I think they thought about it. I think that they need this, and like you said, if that happens, if I got a smile on my face from in here.
I'm excited.
If that actually happens, they fundamentally change how you purchase, trade, and gift games. Because I gift games to people sometimes, right? I see somebody on my friends list, and I understand the economic situation. And if I'm in an economic situation that's a little bit more advantageous than theirs, I, facilitate games. Hey, let's do it. Let's play. Because I play with you. I want to play all day long. I'm not gonna, stop the fun for this. So if they're at a point where they say, yo, we already got game sharing, which is insane, because a lot of people don't know about that. All right. So once you tell somebody, oh yeah, we log in together, we both share a digital library. What? That's insane. All right. They got gifting of games. That's insane. Now, if they say they got buybacks,
I don't think it's buybacks. I feel like everything they're doing is pointing to sharing.
Okay, so let's get into the sharing thing. So what do you like? How the initial vision when they first came out, when they got attacked, kind of like always online, but you can share digital games, and there was an initial thing that they kind of had like almost like a family plan, right? Something to that effect.
Yep.
Where you can share amongst. So what do you think, Lord Attic? Like what do you think how they might approach it?
I don't think we'll get that, because a lot of people think that the sharing, the digital library is hurting the industry. Yeah. And it's like, trust me, if it was hurting the industry, we would know. It would be gone. Like when developer, like if anything, sure. First off, you don't have 100% guarantee that every second person was going to pick up that game anyway. Most of the time, only big games we're going to get a huge.
But it is still a sale lost though. If it's
a sale lost. But look at GameStop their stock has trembly went down.
I have to say something on this, because I have some information from Phil Spencer himself.
Oh, let's go. Break it on ILP. Let's go.
Well, here's the thing. I asked him straight up about game sharing. Okay. I said, and he kind of chuckled and was like, he choked when I asked.
He did that like neck thing where he laughs.
That laugh where you're not supposed to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, because I asked him straight up. I was like, look, how do you guys get around game sharing? I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Because essentially people could be game sharing from across the pond, across the world, and stuff like that. And he's like, well, you're not really supposed to be doing it that way. And he broke it down how it's supposed to be done. And he was like, but look, he goes, in the end, that helps us. He says that helps the industry. That he has data to show that game sharing is actually promoting sales. And actually,
because if I buy a game and we're sharing, you got the next game up.
So
Well, that's one too, and then
he
also
did-
some
that's a
microtransactions.
and he had people that came. He had some of the studios come in because some of them are upset about game sharing. They go in there thinking, "Hey, we're losing sales," and he shows them the data, and they walk out with a smile. He says,
At the end of the day, it's like I said. Like, first off, they're getting a way bigger cut digitally.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like I said. You look at these, you see. That's one of the reasons that the people want to use MPG charts. Like, you can't even use that accurately anymore.
Right, because digital is not always included all the
Because
time.
the sales are even on PS4. You can share library even there. So
yeah, he went on to even say that he says they know who's doing it and doing it incorrectly, and they could see and they could ban the exact person who's doing the wrong here. He says, but they don't because it promotes those sales. It's a benefit. So. It's one of those things that I was taken aback by, that he told me this stuff, and I was like, wow, okay, that's eye-opening, because I thought it was a sale lost.
Yeah, that's a good point, because even towards, like, maybe as the generation continued to go on, I remember, I believe it was, don't quote me, it was either Greenberg or Ibarra, and they actually for the first time referenced sharing. And because it was almost like the unspoken thing. People knew about it, but Microsoft didn't go out their way to promote it. You know what I mean? And I noticed, I was like, wow, that's kind of like the first mention of sharing openly by like a Microsoft exec.
And
so your feedback with Phil is pretty interesting, Fonz.
You can tell, like, I think if anything, it might not be game sharing. It might be making that back door like legit legal, like it's open game, because if you look at it, you have certain situations like, they're actually referring to this program like it isn't a backdoor that people use, and they're doing stuff like increasing the amount of times you can change home. They've done that. Another 3. You can do it 6 total now. It used to be 3. There's no reason to do that unless you're on the download promoting that service.
That's a good point. What do you feel, Lord BRAP?
David brought something up earlier, like how game sharing promotes sales, because someone buys a game and then the other person's up next, right? And so it almost forces like you to be more transactional. Like you have to buy, because you want to keep that library going. You want to get the hottest game.
You want to keep that marriage, that relationship.
That's right. Because if you're not pulling your weight, you're cut off, baby. I'm taking my bags, what I came in with, and we are out of here.
Yeah, there's a lot of digital relationships that have changed over the years.
Oh yes, sir. And you understand exactly how valuable that companion is once they leave. You understand? You're gonna miss me when I'm gone. I'm telling you now, that is the best thing, to hear the conversations, because I game share with inside my household, right? So, but to hear the conversations with people that game share with each other on, you got this game, but I brought the last game, but you know how my tax situation is, and you know how I'm gonna take a more game. I think it's the best conversations ever, and especially when you start threatening them with like, "Yo, this is 2 games in, and I don't see your efforts. I think I'm gonna have to go with old Big John Stud down the block because we have to rock together, baby." Like I love it.
People have
it's
a digital relationship
fantastic.
divorces.
Yes, yo, they got divorce court for this. I mean, this is beautiful.
Actually, it's kind of funny, Lord BRAP. We've seen in Lord Addict, we know offhand some people, we will not say any names, but they would come to us and they'd say, "Yo, man, such and such ain't pulling his weight in this relationship." And it's like Lord Frost, they cut us. They're like, "Man, we might have to cut this person off. Who you linking up with, Lord?
Who's sleeping with who in these Xbox streets?"
Yeah, see, I got to link up with my kids, bro, and they don't buy nothing, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
I already told Rand Thor. I said, "Hey, man, next when you, whoever your game sharing leaves you or something, make sure you hit me up, because I want to game share with you, because he gets everything."
If you married to Rand,
you went to the biggest girl in the prom. You went to the prom queen, and you said to her, "Listen, if your date falls out for the prom, I'm viable. I'm a viable. I'll pull my weight."
Jay went to the pinup girl of game sharing.
This is crazy. He said, "Yo, I rub toes.
I'm done."
That's the best. That's gold. That right there was gold. I swear that was gold.
Yeah, I have to, man. Hey, you got to keep thinking ahead, man.
Absolutely. So
Digital relationships.
Everyone in the chat, you make sure you validate your relationships. You make sure that your partner's doing everything they can to keep
and everybody out there, hey, and keep your mitts off my Rand too.
You know, if things don't go right, you gotta hold.
They think we'll get smooth. Don't be hitting them up trying to steal them from me, okay?
Now you know people DMs just went crazy.
Sliding the DMs
right now.
That game share.
How's your relationship?
You know what's going on? You kind of did that with PlayStation one time with me. Remember, you was like, "Hey, what's going on with your sharing situation over there on PlayStation?"
Yeah, I got a random DM, and it was like, "Who you game sharing with?" From a random person that I know for a long time. I was like, "Whoa, babe, you ain't even take me out to dinner first. You just went straight for the jugular."
I'm glad that because I used to get them all the time, but I don't really anymore. Where people would be randomly like, "Yo, I want such and such game, but I'll let you use such and such game. Want a game share?" I'm like, no.
Let's move it. Let's move it. We almost down.
What happens? What this big digital announcement from Microsoft is, and we'll see, man. We hopefully all of us got our fingers crossed. We hope it is either an extension of game sharing or digital trade-ins. Both would be pretty huge. So we're gonna move on to the final topic, and we're going to talk about some cardboard. Lord King, what do you have to say? What's going on with Grandpa these days?
I just want to say before King goes into it, I have no clue what this Labo is, but I have to go. So I'm going to wait till you explain it because I want to know what this is.
I'll get it out. We're going to break it in. So get Lord King. What's going on with Grandpa Nintendo?
Well, Grandpa Nintendo is really hot in these streets right now, and everybody thought off of their last their little mini treehouse jump off that they were going to they were going to have a giant direct right after that and release all these other games. But just when you thought Nintendo was following in step and hand, left happens. And I know when left happens, when my Twitter just starts going rampant. And I'm laying there trying to get some sleep. And, usually I hear one or two drums. And I'm like, cool. No, it got to the point where I had to get up and mute it. I got up and I muted it. And it said, you have 45 tweets. What? What is going on?
What's going on out
and
here?
Then everybody got these memes of cardboard. I'm like, what the hell is happening? And then the nastiest thing that I saw was a meme where it says Nintendo and it has a guy with the fishing pole pulling the fishing pole out. Only Nintendo can do this. I said, okay. I said, all right. I got to find out. I got to do the due diligence here to find out what's going on. I got to investigate this. And once they say Labo, all right, first, Nintendo's the only one that can come up with these weird names, right? I mean, Labo. We're going to go with Labo.
Well, everything's Bo with them. Amiibos.
Oh, yeah.
Labos.
Labo.
They're not playing. They are the only ones that are bold enough, daring enough, and they got just a taste of don't care inside of them.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this exactly?
It's $70 cardboard that you put together to play your Wii. Your Switch stuff.
Let's get Lord Fonz in on the explanation since he did a fantastic video.
Yes, but it's $70 at it. Only these people can get you to pay $70 for cardboard.
Let me get this straight. Okay, you selling it for $100, right?
I'm not touching it. I swear to God, I'm not touching it. I'm not buying it for my child. I'm not touching it. I'm taking a stance right now. I'm taking a stance right now.
This is premium cardboard, though, Lord King.
This is premium
There's no such thing. There's
There
no
is
such
now.
words where
There is
you say
now.
cardboard. No, they taking your recycled trash. You probably got something from Amazon and you threw out the box. And Nintendo came through. They got stockpiles of Amazon trash and they selling it to you for $70 a pop. And it's gonna go viral. It's gonna go crazy.
Let's
But I'm
bring
not
it
gonna
back.
be part of
Let's
it.
bring it back. Let Lord Fonz explain to Lord Addict what Nintendo Labo is.
Go get it.
All right. My initial thoughts was the same as you guys. When I first saw the cardboard, you know, I wasn't even looking at the software aspect or nothing. I just saw cardboard and I was thinking pizza boxes, you know. I was like, really? That they're going to sell this to us? But then I did some more digging because you know, I didn't like all the negativity I was hearing out there on this stuff. Like, I'm like, what's going on here? Nintendo's got to have a reason for this, even though sometimes Nintendo don't have to have a reason for nothing. They'll just put anything in it, right? But I said, there's got to be something behind this. So I start looking into it and I look at the $70 kit and I see, okay, it comes with a kit. You get with this kit, you get 2 RC cars, a fishing rod, a house, a motorbike, and a piano. And you get all the software for those things too. You have these little games and stuff you can do with this stuff. And then the other one is a big like robot kit. You can actually put it on your back and everything. And
It's got pulleys.
yeah, and it's got like a foot pedal and stuff, and you can actually interact with a robot game. And I was like, well, you know what? Games are $60 a pop, brand new. You add in the cardboard, yeah, you know, $10, no big deal. Then I was looking further into it, and I was like, okay, so these kids, they're like building it, they're coloring it, they're making it their own. And I was thinking back to when I was a child, and I was like, you know what? I would have loved this as a kid. I used to put things together, draw and stuff, and I used to love doing this kind of stuff. And I said, so as a parent, I can understand that if my kids wanted something like this, it promotes creativity. And I'm all for that. But as an adult, I don't want to have anything to do it. It's not for us. But this is targeting a kid. You know,
Lord, before you go, like all it is, it's kind of like these do-it-yourself cardboard creations where it's kind of preset. So like one might be a piano, the other one's like a motorbike, the other one. So basically you take the cardboard, you construct it in a preset configuration. You can't like create your own thing. They have all these different kind of models. And then what it works with the IR blaster of the Nintendo Switch, the Joy-Con, so that I guess they're gonna have software in games, like you put the little, you know, the Switch tablet portion in the front, and then you got the handlebars or the motorbike, and in the screen of the Switch, it'll simulate you actually driving the bike. So this is clearly for kids.
We got Amiibos 2.0.
A lot of the negativity stems from the adults in the community. And look, it's not for you. It's not for you.
It's not for us.
It's for the kids, you know.
For the kids, for the children.
And can you guys not remember back in the day when you used to build stuff, even if it was Legos, or you took an old box that your mom had, made a fork out of it, you drew wheels on it, got pushed around the house.
Lord King, remember we used to buy the planes, the foam planes that you put together, and you put the propeller in the front. They had the different bomber planes and all that.
I also remember getting a little parachute, guys. It was 50 cents and this was 25 cents. Styrofoams. I remember this stuff, and this is an interactive hold up and wait. Right? You know how when you got your PlayStation and you turned it on for the first time and they was deleting all that DRM that they had in it. Yeah, you was updating the new U interface, the interface, and it took like 24 hours for that to happen. So this time we give you cardboard to play with. Why you doing that?
Shout out to Lil X in the chat. He said, "Your kids are gonna slaughter these things." He's going ham on this thing.
I just want the adults, when they get a hold of this stuff and they start coming up with their own concoctions to these cardboard games.
Well, you got to remember. You're basically paying for all that software you're getting, all these little games.
Yeah,
it's the cardboard, because you can play without the cardboard as well. The thing is that cardboard is that extra bit of, you know, creativity and that imagination and all that stuff that I think that kids will really adapt to. And it's already the #1 seller on Amazon, you know. This thing is going to be huge, and
that's what I said.
Why?
And it's going to be huge.
And you guys are right though. Like Sony and Microsoft couldn't pull this off, but there's a reason. Like Nintendo caters to the old and young and very young, and so they can do this. The other companies
Fonz,
can't.
you know what, Fonz? I'm gonna tell you this. I know that Nintendo has a whole warehouse full of these thoughts.
Somebody
Okay.
said they were old Wii U boxes.
Yeah, it probably is. It probably is. But
Oh, wow.
Nintendo has been the king of recycling everything, right? Now, they took these thoughts, they took your thoughts, and they said, what's the most fun aspect of your childhood? Because they delve deep inside a child's mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing is fostering creativity at the fundamental level of these children to bring them back to gaming.
Mm-hmm. Before I go,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna make one statement. King is definitely buying this. I'll talk to you guys later.
No, you know, I can't buy it for my son because my son gaming maturity level, because he's been gaming since he was 2 years old. His gaming maturity level is that of a teenager, of a 15-year-old, 16-year-old. He's 7. He's 7.
Yeah. See, because I could see a kid 6, 7 years old doing this stuff and having fun with it. But like, yeah, the older children, nah. But I'd rather give my kid at say 6 years old this Labo kit rather than giving them a Call of Duty and having them just sit there.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. But see, my kid has been already exposed to the Call of Duty. So if I hand him this cardboard box,
it's too late.
He's going to have the same reaction that I'm having. What Nintendo was trying to do is get these kids that have their first experience for gaming to be a legendary experience.
It's the same reason why kids don't play outside today.
Yeah,
they're not exposed to this kind of stuff anymore. And that's what I'm thinking back. Like when you were children, man, we were outside all the time. We had video games, but we played. We did.
But the streets was a little bit safer though.
Xbox said as a dad, there's no way I'm getting this from my 2. I love his disgust.
Yo, listen, if the kid is young enough, trust me, if my son was at the age where he wasn't corrupted by because he plays The Witcher and stuff like that, all right? He learned how to read through video games. I'm not lying to you, I swear to God. Awesome. So he's a little prodigy, and it's not just because it's my kid, but he has forced the evolution of learning through the video games because he wanted to keep up with his older sisters.
It's not going to be for every kid. Yeah,
it's not.
No.
If I had a new baby though, new baby gets this.
Yeah, but a lot
of
Lord
BRAP, I got to get you in on this, man. What's your whole feeling of the Nintendo Labo?
All right, so I have a little bit of a long take on this.
Let's go.
So this is Nintendo's answer to VR. Think about this, right? You want to play as a robot, and Sony probably has a robot game for you, but you have to wear a VR headset, right? Nintendo, you can just strap a cardboard box to your back, pull a couple levers, So this is their answer, and I said this to one of my friends the other day. We were talking about the Labo thing. He's like, actually, that kind of makes sense. He's like, it's like VR. If we were like little kids and we wanted VR, like what would that
real life?
And we said cardboard boxes. We all went back to cardboard boxes, right? But I think this is the genius behind this is that they're also looking to get people into gaming that don't traditionally game.
Yes,
people that play with cardboard boxes outside, or have as children. We always talk about the imagination children have, and us growing up, and we remember using our imagination to play out scenarios, do different things. You playing Transformers with your friends in the backyard.
Little girls coloring and stuff like that. They'll get little girls playing video games this way.
Yeah. Different audience. You're right. It's a different audience. It's not for. That's a good point.
Yeah, and
they're gonna win.
This is a brilliant move by Nintendo because Nintendo's always looking to figure out ways to incorporate the non-gamer. We have the core gamer. How can we get other people into gaming? And they're the ones that and this is what they're doing with this.
I'm sorry. The finest is it. He said grown people are buying this and saying this for their kids, but it's really for them grown people.
They've been doing it for years.
Yeah,
Finest, they've been doing it for years.
But shout out to the finest. He be lit in the chat. Oh my god. I'm sorry, Lord Brown. Continue.
No worries. But that's the brilliance of this. And I think that look, like I had the same thing, like Jay said, like when I saw it, I was like, oh, they're totally trolling us. Like this is just they're trolling us. They're gonna drop Pokemon the RPG game on us. You know, this is just brilliant marketing. And then no, this was in fact the thing for them. And I had to step away and say, wait a minute. This isn't for me. This is for my children. My children would love this. They would absolutely love this because it takes something that they enjoy. They already enjoy playing the Switch. Now they get to build something, they get to use their imagination. And, you know, that's kind of like the knock against gaming sometimes. People feel like you just sit, you're a couch potato, you're just burning your brain cells. This kind of, I think, debunks that myth of that, or that stereotype that people have of gaming. And then again, it incorporates those non-gamers, those kids who maybe wouldn't touch a video game. Now maybe they have a reason to now. And I think this thing, like B Money said, it's like the #1 seller on Amazon now. I think this thing is going to have legs. I think Nintendo is just firing in all cylinders. And I think you said it earlier, Cognito. They're the only ones that can get away with this.
Absolutely.
They're the only birds. They're the only ones.
Transitioning to your
King David, you're getting one, man, because it's premium cardboard.
Well, listen, you know, I do my amiibos, and you can catch me with that, but you're not catching me with this cardboard. I'm gonna tell you right now, like, listen, my level of, if you know what, let me stop right here, because they will come out with a kit that will talk to me. And
they're gonna have something for you. They
got the VR. You don't remember? It was like an article that came out. I think it was on Reddit or something like that. It was not too long ago, and they talked about Nintendo was talking about cardboard VR, and people were like, "What?" But it was cardboard VR that's out here that people just do the cardboard, and you slip your phone inside, and you put it on your face. Right. So they was talking about Nintendo with cardboard. Now that's the first time I heard Nintendo with cardboard. And you put the Switch in, and they already had a thing in place. Does this facilitate? Does the sales of this right here, where they go straight for the child gamer here, and then they go for us with the VR with the cardboard for the adults?
Listen, I think Lord BRAP just nailed it. I think it's one of those things that you're trying to get that market. They're trying to get that market that would normally not, buy video games like that. And, speaking to Lord Fonz's point with just the creativity and just thinking as simple as like Lego blocks and all those creative things that, kids are not doing. And I'm telling you, I have a funny feeling this thing's going to take off, man.
I have a funny feeling Nintendo has stock in cardboard, and the price of the cardboard just went up.
Michael Monkey, you got Michael Monkey Punch in the chat. He said, just sell software and get your own box. Here's the thing. He's not off base, because I read a story today. Nintendo is going to sell templates for that, to do just that, to cut your own cardboard out if you'd like.
Well, I will say this too, Lord Fonz. I mean, one thing I do appreciate, as much as we're kind of clowning it a little bit, is that for the kids that, might not come from, well-established financial situations at home, and you can kind of make something out of that if that's the case. If they're offering templates.
Financially, that is a serious dollar that you're just talking about. Listen to this. The system's 300. That's 70. You get 2 of them, you are at $440. You're talking premium here. Okay? This child, first of all, who's giving a 3 or 4-year-old a Switch? Like, what is going on, Nintendo? You didn't even give me a price cut. You just came out with cardboard.
But here's the question.
It's hard pill to swallow.
I understand.
What happens when your kid break that Switch playing with that cardboard? What happens then?
You're making valid points, but
the question
is, does it sell? Based on
it sells, but how many broken switches is in the process of this? Nintendo thought about the foresight of this. They said, we don't really have a protection plan on the Switch. He said, true, let's make the cardboard so the kids can break it more, so we can double our sales in the most. How many broken switches is going to be in the streets? That's the question. You out here playing robot.
Nintendo level, does it sell? Is this something that's going to pop for Nintendo? What's your take?
My take or Jay's take?
Okay,
Oh,
yeah. I think it's going to sell. It's already the #1 seller on Amazon. I think it's going to sell this Christmas. It's going to sell. I think it's going to be a big thing for them, and they're probably going to make more of this stuff. More kids.
I think Nintendo doubles their sales on Switches.
Oh, interesting. Lord BRAP, what do you think? Hot take. After the jokes, does this thing sell? Does the Labo take off?
I absolutely think it takes off. We're seeing it on Amazon, and I'll say it again. This thing is. Look, the fact that we're talking about it, that's all Nintendo wants.
That's all they want.
They don't care. They don't care if you. The fact that we're like, oh my god, it's cardboard. They're excited that we're talking about it. Talking about it because
that's Megatron in the chat. He said his kids are loving the Labo idea.
There you go.
I thought he said his kids had it. You should have saw my face. I'm like, you ready? Who you hooked up with that you got Labo?
I showed my 9-year-old daughter that one of the kits, and she thought it was awesome. She was like, "That was cool." We don't have a Switch, so I can't get it. But if I did have a Switch, I'd buy it for her.
I tell you what I was impressed with the piano key one, the piano one.
Yeah,
the tech.
Yeah, the tech behind it. The Joy-Con can detect which keys you're hitting.
That's amazing. And again, that's the. Remember when people wanted to know what the deal was with that IR blaster? Besides just to me, this is another functionality. We have to give the tech of the Switch credit.
What are they talking about? Like
and now Labo. This is a big deal of how they're utilizing that extra functionality.
And I remember B Money was like talking because we were talking about like when the Switch first came out. I was like, B, why are these Joy-Cons so expensive? He's like, it's the technology behind it. And he's like, you watch, because Nintendo's about to change the game when it comes to controllers. And I didn't believe him. And here we are. And B Money's right.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, Nintendo has made their bones on their controllers. And this controller, once I saw that you can feel when they had to do the shaky thing and it felt like it was ice inside my cup, like when you did all that stuff, I was like, wow, these controllers are actually more than what they're marketing or what they're telling everyone.
Very great piece of tech. People don't give those Joy-Cons a lot of credit. I mean, it's so much they can do. And just, Lord King, I know like just when you do multiplayer and you detach both, and you give someone, one individually, and all the things you can see, it's pretty impressive, man. It's a fully functional controller for the most part.
Sony and Microsoft is already down a path where these controllers are probably their DNA, and that's it. Nintendo separated the DNA and made the software their DNA, and everything else is a new experience. Every system is a new experience.
Good point.
Yeah. How much you want to bet somebody's going to 3D print this stuff in plastic? They're going to.
I hope so.
Somebody probably.
I hope so. Because these broken switches in these streets. I'm looking at that part right there. I'm not giving my kid no cardboard to play my Switch.
You protecting your Switch, like
yeah. How many scratch screens you gonna have? Cardboard's rough, baby. It's rough. They're gonna double the sales of the Switch this year, guaranteed, off of broken switches alone.
So we're gonna get to wrap this thing up soon. If anyone else
wait till they start selling stickers, the custom box.
Oh yeah, you know that. Oh yeah,
it's
coming. They're gonna customize it.
Pokemon decals in the cardboard box.
$500.
So let's wrap this thing up. If everyone's good on the cardboard era, Nintendo level, we're gonna finish the show, man. Shout out to Frog and those guys for coming through. But we gotta close up with the poll. So we got a new ILP poll this week. So with all the recent announcements and rumors at Xbox, Booty as VP, the recommitment to first IP, all these leaked games we're hearing about, digital gaming rumors, how excited are we regarding the future of the Xbox brand? So choices are A, very excited. The future looks bright. B, Sony is still way ahead. Too little, too late. Or C, we don't care because Labo is going to outsell them all. That is the question. Those are the choices. Please rock the vote. Hit the ILP Twitter poll hard when it goes up. Lord Fonzerrelli, thank you so much for coming through. A huge fan of you. Everything you do, all the podcasts you're on, man. Absolute pleasure. Where can the fine people find you?
Oh man, they can find me pretty much everywhere, right? I mean, They can find me at J Fonzerrelli on YouTube and Twitter. That's 2 R's, 2 L's, and an I. And they can find me at Loot Chest Radio on Twitter and YouTube as well. And you can find me on the GRG podcast Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Dealer Gaming's channel.
Oh, shout out to Lord Dealer.
And you can find me on the TSP podcast as well. And that's Sunday nights.
Shout out to Lord Salt.
That's again at 8 p.m. Eastern time on Saltia's Gaming's channel.
Yes,
also on GRG podcasts. When I can make it, I'm over there Friday nights at 6.
Brother, you
I believe
are
it's
doing it.
Hardest working man in show business, Lord Fonzerrelli. Let's go.
James Brown of this.
And of course, that's on K Mega's channel at 9 p.m. Eastern time.
Shout out to K Mega.
And then over on the 60 Frames No Lag podcast on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Eastern time with Porter Rock 77.
Shout out to Lord Porter Rock. Me and him been going back and forth. We're gonna get him on the show too. Absolutely. Hardest working man in showbiz, Lord Fonzerrelli. Always appreciate your perspective. Huge fan of what you do. One of the positive beacons in the community, and truly balanced. Makes us all think out there. It's long overdue for you to be in the realm of the Lords. Absolute pleasure.
I appreciate it, man. It's been awesome.
You already know. And Lord BRAP with the cameo today, man. Really appreciate you coming through, helping us out during the booty era. Dropping his knowledge.
Anything for booty.
I just didn't hear BRAP say it because he makes me laugh when he says Lord BRAP, man. Always a pleasure with your rants and everything that's going on at the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. Where can the fine people find you? Tell us what's going on.
Yep. You guys, everyone can find me on Twitter at BRAP_podcast. And you can find me on BRAP on YouTube, the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's myself, B Money, Eric Jackson, Mr. Megative when he can make it. And we always have a variety of community guests on. Jay Fonzerrelli's been on. We've had the Iron Lords on. So yeah, definitely check.
I'm trying to come through again.
Yeah, man, we gotta come back again. Gotta get Lord King back on. Lord Soft.
You gotta come on, man. It's been too long, man. It's been too long.
Yeah. Listen, I got some stuff in the mix. Me and you gonna talk after this about that. Because we're me and you and it's going to be a conglomerate. So
all right.
World domination over here, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm sorry, Lord.
You can also find me on Loot Chest Radio with Jay Fonzerrelli, All Day Digital. Definitely check us out. I love the production values you do, Jeff. Credit for that, man.
Yeah.
Audio cues that
awesome, man.
Really puts in, and just man, it's really. I just love to call and act like I'm caller 65, and y'all owe me something. Like I won a prize or something.
Next time you call in, I'll say the shirt's in the mail or something.
Yeah, very unique concept. Please, Lords, like if you guys, call in, these guys really entertain all questions, and it's a really cool radio vibe, man. It's real dope.
Speaking of calling in, this week's voicemail, oh man,
it's lit.
Oh,
you got another Mike Rizzo?
Yeah. Jay has a fan.
Let's just say I have a fan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no, stalker.
Loot Chest Radio, y'all. Definitely make sure you guys check that out. And salute the Lord Gaming Addict for coming through. I know he's busy schedule, but he stopped in. The young wolf, you know what I'm saying? And Lord Solve, we miss you, man. Hopefully we get you back next week. Condolences to the fam.
Wishes out to your family.
Absolutely. Lord King, the premium gamer with that premium cardboard today.
Oh God. Listen, shout out to Jay Fonzerrelli. I want to tell you, because you made a statement earlier about you put 14 hours in and you had 100 views or whatever, and I'm one of those 100. I appreciate everything that you do. I look at you and XBot and the production value that you guys and the hard work, I see it. And, it gives me something to aspire to when I start to take those steps out, because, you look at other people's stuff and they, like you said, these guys are getting their views and stuff, but your stuff is quality. So I'd rather take quality over quantity any day.
Facts. And good point, Lord King, because what we want to let you know too is that, maybe not getting the success that we feel you deserve, but it resonates with real gamers, and that's what it is. Xbot. Also, I want to give a shout out to. I've shouted him out before too. Cole Eastwood's another one.
Oh yes, cool.
I mean, these guys.
We all know the guys that.
We see the effort you guys put in, and you know, we got to spread love to these guys. These guys in the community that's really doing their thing, and we got to promote that positivity, man. A lot of people out here putting out good work, you know.
I was real happy that for the first big card of the year, we had you on the next day.
Yeah.
We're a little bit unconventional. We're gonna talk that gaming talk, but we're also gonna talk that barroom talk that we always talk.
Exactly.
So I'm glad
guys,
that you're on.
Anytime you guys want to talk combat sports, hey, feel free to invite.
Much appreciated. And you know what, Lord Fonz, and that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, you inspired us because we were getting pushed back to not even include that. And this is something that we do. And then when we seen guys like you and a couple other lords like, yo, we love when y'all talk combat sports. It kind of gave us the confidence to even still include it.
Keep going.
Talk about what's going on. So again, each one teach one. You guys, you know what I'm saying, helped us, you know, give us confidence to continue on with that as well.
Hey, that's why those timestamps are right there, right?
Absolutely.
Yes,
you know.
Lord Rap
timestamp too.
Lord Rap, man, like Captain America, baby. You come flying in with your shield, baby. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, baby. So I respect that. I saw him when he jumped in. I was like, brah.
Much appreciated, man. Of course, it was Lord Cognito here. We spread the gaming realness today on the ILP. Thanks for everyone in the chat for coming through. Everything was pretty much lit. Make sure you hit like, subscribe on all the ILP and all the Inner Circle Network media outlets. We got the multiverse up tomorrow with Lord Anchorman. Please subscribe to them, and I'll get the audio out to you guys tonight, man. All the support, all the stuff really helps, man. We really appreciate you guys and love that you guys come through and show love to the ILP. So I want everybody to enjoy their Sunday. I know you guys got football on deck. Get to your families. Enjoy.
Yes, sir.
We'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Peace.